asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today, yeah. Uriel. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today, yeah. Yeah. She asks us we going to heaven today. Well, listen up, girl, you better come play. Right in my bed, you better come lay, yeah. Yeah. Girl, you know I'ma give you some pleasure. Girl, you know I can see in your gestures. You living in hell with your man and you know that I felt you, yeah. Well, girl, you should know that we going to heaven. About to go play that girl and I'm rolling a 7. Making all that money, girl, now you know we in heaven, yeah. Whole life like Star Wars, girl, no force with me. Fucking underneath the water, close your eyes, too much chlorophyll. Treat your legs like the pearly gates, open the doors for me. Yeah. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today, yeah. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today, yeah. Had to let the beat breathe a bit. The polymer, yeah, he the shit. Before you put in your tool, you can keep the sense. Too much time being occupied, gotta leave this bitch. But I can't do it cause it hurt my heart. The polymer, yeah, he the first to start. Flight music, yeah, it's a work of art. Yeah, off center street, just gotta learn your part. Yeah. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today, yeah. Uriel. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today. She asks us we going to heaven today, yeah.
That bitch.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. 100 with you. 100. We might not be able to go today, though. My dad might not open the door.
Open the door, this bitch.
Your soul takes loud company.
Yeah, sometimes. I'm saying sometimes ain't loud company. Sometimes ain't loud company. You know what I'm saying? Cause y'all humans be chopping things up too much. Keep it holy. Don't go, hey, hi, ho, you, he. You do that down here. You don't come up there at the holy. You don't come up there at the holy. You're supposed to have it complete. You don't get chopped down gunzooey down here and all your animalistic natures and think you about to go somewhere in some holy grace land, rainbow waters, floor, gold and silver checkerboard landing with a goddamn new orthopedic couch. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oh, can't go that far. Can't go that far. Y'all flunked out mentalities and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you just know like the hey, hi, ho, hey, hi, ho, you. He ain't no fee, fi, fo, fee, thong, no phone, gonna flunk that ass, pop out a Sailor Man, ribcage, jawline face, and all of that. And all of that. Oh, your jolly green giant stack, green beans, or spoiled rusty green bean can face, and all of that. Oh, your raging bull shoulder blade neck, and all of that. Now we're gonna get into some real mental science. You know what I'm saying? You understand the alchemy and the elemental allegories of your mentality. You know what I'm saying? So you can know exactly, yeah, this is a fart cloud. You know what I'm saying? You can go learn all the alchemy or all the things of the periodic table to know what accumulates a fart cloud. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, you gonna like be aware of a spirit being inside of you. Like, You know what I'm saying? Then you're going to wonder why you always smell bull, beep, stuff in your life. A whole bunch of bull, beep, bird, beep. You know what I'm saying? Real, a whole bunch of those. You know what I'm saying? You like, dang, why I gotta be like a racing Kentucky Derby racing horse smelling like it just went out the bathroom or something like that. You know what I'm saying? He was like, what's going on? You looked at your life. You went ahead and looked at your life. That's what happened. Then you start looking around like, then people are like trying to figure out why you always got the stench face, why you always got the stink face and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Then sometimes you got to figure out yourself, because you be like, yeah, I took a bath. I put deodorant on, I put powder on, I put some cologne if you're a female, you'll be like, I put some perfume on, I had some bite. But you still do that. You know what I'm saying? And now you gotta go back and look at the mirror. You know what I'm saying? You ain't read the Bible right. You know, well, you want to talk about the kind of baptism and stuff like that, just about the as a below, as within version of it. No, I said you got to practice these things at least as above, so without. That's where y'all be getting problems at. Y'all know how to mix the world together. Y'all say y'all not like true alchemists and alchemies and like video game Walt Disney programmers. Y'all don't know how to like put it together. Like y'all know how to put the wiring systems and like the USB cord and plug in the right spots and positions. Like that's y'all problem. Y'all gotta like blend it together. Y'all just like, go take a bath. The only thing that was on your mind is all the depression your job just gave you. Y'all all the depression that you gotta like get up and like go look at that Firebird again. That was like the person you married 10 years ago. That a fire smack monkey. That's the only thing that was on your mind, and it was still on your mind when you got out the bathtub. So you ain't read the Bible right. You know what I say? Like, you ain't read things through the right light. You didn't understand, like, the as above, so without version. You just did, like, the as below, so within, and you stayed a demon. You stayed in your desire. You got up and you ain't changed from yesterday. So, you gotta, like, know how to blend these things, or you get thrown out in La La Land. That's it. You're lost in the world. You don't know what tarot card you playing at the moment. You don't know you the Empress, Six of Swords. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you is. Seven of Pentacles. You don't know what you're devil. Yeah, you're the devil. The right one. You picked the right one. You picked the right one. That one right there. You picked the right one. That one. Oh, sad. Hold on for that. They got a whole lot of characters you can play too. All the wrestlers, all our upbringings. It don't matter if you got kids and they got a new upbringing. No, they the same Egyptian god, Lord, Son, Fathom, floating Fatimas, fairy tale folklords. They all the same thing. You can find Zeus and everything. You know what I'm saying? Don't let no religious person try to argue, Zeus ain't pagan. Zeus ain't Christianity. It ain't got nothing to do with pagan. Man, I show up to a debate with a video game. I show up to a debate with Mortal Kombat. I'll be like, what they talk about with Raiden there? What is that with Raiden doing? What Raiden doing? That Jupiter? Is that Zeus? What is that? Is that Peter? You know what I'm saying? What is that like? You know what I'm saying? I debunk you in a video game. I'll debunk you in a video game. Real stuff. Real stuff. I'll debunk you in a video game. Try to tell me you ain't lost in Galileo. Try to debunk an angel. Get on Google and let the Lord be with you in Galileo. Hey, how hold you he from? Get out the holy land. Get out right now. Get out right now. Oh, I'm saying real stuff. We ain't 12 minutes in. We get 12 minutes. Time to go deep. Time to go back in with mental fluctuations and illnesses that you can help by. Every time you experience frustration in your life, you dealing with the opposite energy. And we'll do a quick rundown on the planets and things of that nature. And then, go straight to Libra, to Pisces. But, it's just about correlating your mind, having it in the right circumstance, so you know what you actually looking at. This the bomb right here. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. You keep this if you a smoker. Even though I don't really eat anyway, I'm like a fluid diets and stuff like that, so my breath never stink. But if you do want to go this route, this the route, because a lot of y'all probably smoke cigarettes and stuff like that, and a lot of tobacco. This the way to go. What I'm doing right now, this is a incense oil candle sage stick I got off 45th in Amsterdam before I left New York. There's stuff like that from the Hebrew Mighty Morphin Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Israelite. So it's like a toothpick too. So you might see sage and stuff. You might for the spirits, bringing the spirits down here. You know what I'm saying? For sure. You and getting like circumstances and stuff. But yeah, it's all about foundation, and showing your spirit what it needs to be paying attention to. Because a lot of times we don't know what to be aware of. Then we start to accumulate a whole bunch of things we ain't had no business putting seconds, minutes, and hours of our day into, and then it start to subconsciously develop as events in our life. And then we like, dang, how I meet this person, or why is I'm experiencing this, or why is I'm experiencing this blockage and things of that nature. And it's because all of our ability to create awareness, which is a mental form, right, is our power. And if you're not knowing how to use your power, you're busy allowing things to be in your psyche based upon its awareness. And a lot of times you're not able to decipher it within one chakra and out the other one when you allow it in your solar system, the system for your soul to fly in, so you can know you're going down the right direction and path. And a lot of times you allow things within your solar system and you will identify with those traits. And then it will bend in as an actual mental conscious fluid that you have made a part of yourself. And it's going to actually become how you start to interact with the world also. So you have identified with something and it have became you because you didn't let it go. And you have got it from a foreign source, which is another spirit doing the same thing that's not you. So a lot of times you have to be careful what you are aware of, because you might develop things subconsciously as events in your life that'll play out in your way, dealing with the people, places, and things that you got that wasn't really meant for you. But due to the fact that you are going through that experience, you're not aware of the starting point or the first thought that you may have start to accumulate that event, that first thought may have originated 2 weeks ago. And a lot of times when we get into the context of understanding, go with your first thought, a lot of times it ain't the first thought during your current circumstance when you're already experiencing an event at the moment, because events has a starting point. It's like a snowball effect. And if you don't know how to reach that, once the dominoes fall at the end, you're witnessing an event and you think this is the first time, or if you're experiencing something again, you have to act on the instant based upon the current scenario. And a lot of times if you know how to peep how situations get manifested, you will be able to see things from a mile away, foreknowledge, and prevent it. See what I'm saying? Because that's the having God true knowledge. If you know how to read the Bible and understand what foreknowledge is, you just create the first triangle and then you square out. You have a parameter. Then you make a philosopher stone, a triangle. Then you square it out, and then you're squaring out the circle technically because your circle has no space. So you just understand the circumference, how far you can go, and your boundaries and limits before you start to reach your archangels, the angles, the ideas you reach to let you know you're crossing the boundaries of another spirit. And we can't do that, share space to that degree. So it play out as minor frustrations of how to go around something, or if you're going too far, and how to obtain that energy, which would be the word in an encyclopedia as developing morality in some way, shape, or form about yourself and how you deal with others. Now, but yeah, before we even get too far into that, I don't want to get too far into that because we 12 minutes in right now. So because we get back into dialogue and things of that nature in the spiritual world right after we get into why the rest of the signs is experiencing frustration in their life, or anytime that you experience frustration, what are you actually observing at the moment? And outside of you is that alchemy element of your opposite sign. And due to the fact that whatever planet that you're participating with at the moment, that's going to be the filtering system that you experience these events. So a lot of times, if you are aware of this from the jump, which is circling to the point that we had previously, you'll be able to stop things from a mile away. You'll be able to prevent it. And matter of fact, yeah, let me just go ahead and finish that point, right? The philosopher's stone and squaring out the circle and things of that nature. So that's just like having foreknowledge, right? So idea, problem, solution, that's a triangle. So you got an idea, you got a problem, and you got a solution once you handle the problem to take care of the idea that you just originated as the flame. Now, for the most part, you start to square it out. You unfold the triangle. It becomes the square. You reach a conclusion after the solution. Now, idea, problem, solution. Idea, problem, solution, conclusion. Was the idea, problem, and solution was beneficial to you or negative to you? And then based upon you having a lot of experiences, if you're not spiritually aware, like me, since the age of 3, beyond that, right? You have to go through a lot of experiences in your life, and we're all doing this anyway. So it ain't what you do, is how you do it. So when you don't know how to use your own mind, philosopher's stone, someone will carve out your stone, your mental structure for you. And a lot of times this is where we get into social engineering. But this video ain't really about that, but it's helping you how to develop this for your own, which needs to actually be in schools. And having foreknowledge, a lot of times you ain't even got to play the fool a lot of times until you develop wisdom to be able to teach another individual. A lot of times you can put yourself into a situation where you have foreknowledge by observing others or just being mentally aware to go down certain lines of reasoning and trains of thoughts. Therefore, the idea, problem, solution, the triangle, once you make it a square, right, understanding the conclusion that came from the solution, that will be the stone, the philosopher's stone from the woods to the west and things of that nature, to bring it to the Garden of Eden to the east, to be aware of it as a piece of light, as a form, to be able to construct that down here to be an actual physical mineral from the periodic table or organ or mental form, but at the same time, right? When you're thinking about foreknowledge, it's just basically having direct observation and being able to speculate and being adaptive to the point that you create a mental form that could go down that line of reasoning and train of thought and play out the many outcomes, even if you're not in that position spiritually currently at the moment. So you're projecting, and therefore, if you are spiritually unbiased, you're able to project down the right angle, and therefore whatever you use your adept energy with that golem to go into that space to see around that area for you within that arena and see what spirits is dealing with things from a bias or a negative or egotistical or just a stupid mundane space, right? For the most part, you're able to bring that form of intelligence back to the space that you are in, and you able to see what's ahead of you, what's ahead of you, aka foreknowledge, having a hand on the future and being able to, reflangle it if you need to be, for the most part. And this is how you can actually, esoterically be an adeptus in a proper way. And you can't have a lot of biases, because biases are like spaceships. And a lot of times it would take you down the wrong path. So you would end up developing the wrong idea about what you think you're observing. And therefore, when you lack knowledge, you sin, because the point that you're trying to reach, you didn't reach it from a direct point. You missed it from a 150-degree angle, or even worse. So it puts you into a situation where, stuff. Let me put this on the charger for a couple of seconds. So it puts you into a situation where you had the wrong idea, and now you're not able to fully go through the path that you was trying to go to without doing some adjustments. And that might play out in the third dimension as, blockages, misunderstandings between you and other individuals, you prejudging, and to a lot of other circumstances. So understanding foreknowledge is how you can get to the fifth dimension, having emotional intelligence after a conclusion, and plan out conclusions more into your favor after understanding the idea, problem, and solution. The conclusions, you know how to rechange it before you go through an experience for it to go more into your favor. Don't become a dark magician utilizing light magic. Utilize light magic for dark things that you want as self-containment, not to be able to utilize others. So you're the one obtaining all these gifts and talents, not utilizing other people's gifts and talents for your lack of, for the sake of still being in a position that look prosperous in this world and things of that nature. And therefore, for the most part, once you reach the fifth dimension, having emotional intelligence of the idea, problem, solution, and the conclusions that you can reach, right? The foreknowledge that you can reach, you become a sixth-dimensional being down here, and you actually bring a philosopher's stone down here, which is, you could build a community off that, you could build a intellectual property off that, you could build a business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics off that, all kind of circumstances and things of that nature, as far as a form of foundation of how we're all supposed to be doing as a spirit in the first place, which are things you're supposed to already know as a 3-year-old, but the limit and how they got us behind as far as humanity, due to the fact that people playing God, especially when it comes to morality and structuring y'all, even if they got good intent while doing it. But due to the fact of their moral systems and their religions working for so long from their perspective, for them to maintain a situation and keep control over certain things that's just human nature, a lot of times we still get people in power utilizing certain attributes where they think they could take responsibilities for things that really no human should be taking responsibility for, especially when it comes to the mental space. So keep that in mind also. Now, getting into back into these alignments now. So for the most part, learning the exact energy that you're dealing with anytime that you're going through a frustrating or opposition at the moment, right? So the ascendant is based on your personal interest cage. So anytime you feel like you're in a cage within your personal life. The sun, anytime you are seen as negative to others. So how you see others and what make you choose to express yourself a certain way based upon what you've seen. Anytime you're going through a situation where you're seen as negative to other individuals based on your viewpoints or your actions, this is when you experience an opposition towards your sun. Anytime you are experiencing feeling emotionally rejected, this puts you in a situation where you're experiencing the opposite scenario when it comes to your moon sign. So it doesn't necessarily mean these people are going to be your opposite sign. It just means that the element itself that the event consists of is the opposite sign. And for the most part, the more that you know how to be aware of that and use your personal element to combat that or create balance with that, so situations could go more in your favor, the more that how you're riding the wave and not being washed up under the current events. Thank you so much for the donation, Area 3. I appreciate that from the bottom heart. I don't know what the heck. I just say, why you two messing with me? Now, Mercury, right? Oh, that's a shadow. Mercury, disgruntled communications. So anytime you're going through a situation where it's like disgruntled communications and things of that nature, you are experiencing your opposite energy with that event and things of that nature. Venus, blockages in your love matters. So anytime you are experiencing blockages when it comes, or being unable to obtain the things that you love, appreciate, value, or willing to compromise with, which could be a person, place, or thing, or people, then for the most part, you are experiencing the opposite element of whatever situation that you're dealing with to put you in that position to feel like that, or to think like that. Jupiter, whenever you're isolated within your experiences, even if you're around 1,000 people but you still feel alone, you're experiencing the opposite energy within that event when it comes to your Jupiter sign. Saturn, when your status, material, maternalizing, or way of organizing is unstructured. Anytime those things are unstructured, you're experiencing the opposite energy of those things. And due to the fact of you being aware of astrology a little bit, you can start to see if you got planets that fall or debilitated in certain signs, where you may even experience more blockages than the average individual in that area of life. So keep that in mind too. Okay, I see that. Uriel, I like that name. So all right, so we start with Libra. So Libras. Now, when it comes into Libra Libra's ascendants. Now, anytime you are experiencing a situation of being guilty by association, especially when it comes to things that you are personally invested in, things that you are utilizing that help you feel like that you're gaining balance in your life, or you're being fair, or you're utilizing your force of demand or communication or bossy energy in order to create some fairness or balance in some way, shape, or form, right? Now, every now and then, you could be mixing, mingling with the wrong individuals to the point that their energy stench gets stuck on yours, and even when they're not around, a person still see you with their face card, and for the most part, you end up getting or manifesting the same results as them, even if it boils down to a specific job that you may want. But due to the fact of the previous friend that you had that worked there and the way how they got fired, they won't even give you the chance and things of that nature in certain areas. So stuff like that, to the point that sometimes as a Libra ascendant, anytime you are experiencing being guilty by association, is because you're not utilizing you're experiencing an event where your opposite energy is needed. AKA, if everybody going down, you supposed to be in your own corner and things of that nature. Therefore, there's no second question that you ain't got nothing to do with something, because you wasn't rubbing shoulders with individuals too much to be guilty by association. So you created some kind of energy where a person could see you for your own individuality at the moment, regardless if you are part of a pack. So a lot of times, you Libra's ascendants may have a problem being aware of that, and y'all might manifest that a lot of y'all life a lot of times, even down to the point of, you having siblings, and you might have bad siblings, a brother or sister and stuff like that, and you find yourself getting the blame for a lot of things, and they will allow you or force you in your mind to think that you supposed to be the one who take the blame in some way, until you got older and then you had a resentment and to cast stones at them if you grew up with siblings or things of that nature. But for the most part, in a nutshell, having a ascendant in Libra every now and then makes you guilty by association, because there's a lack of the opposite element when you start to experience being guilty by association, and there's a lack of being able to separate you from whatever that's going on or whatever that you are involved in. And this is a lot of times why you manifest being guilty by association. Now, Libra sun signs, right? This is being seen as two-faced or fake. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times Libra sun signs can be seen as Geminis as two-faced, faster than a Gemini can be seen as two-faced. Sometimes it takes a Gemini to actually create a scenario like that for a person to actually start looking at them like that. Sometimes a Libra doesn't even necessarily have to be two-faced, but a person might start to look at them like they're two-faced to a certain degree. So a lot of times you have to be aware of this being a Libra sun sign. And here's why. Because there's a lot of situations that you're in, anytime you feel this weird energy, it's hard to communicate with someone, or someone is judging you in a weird way, because you get this weird sense that they're looking at you as like you're fake, and you have to develop some type of conversation back at them to make them feel like they're wrong and they're fake or something like that. Anytime you're going through a situation like that, it's because you have created an event before that conversation happened. you have created a process or an event where you have attached yourself to something and you haven't done something to separate yourself from that when the time is needed for you to not be a part of that. See what I'm saying? And as a Libra, every now and then, y'all are unaware that y'all fall into that based upon y'all friends who y'all connected to and things of that nature, y'all family. And every now and then, based upon other alignments, you can see that, but you don't look at it like a problem at that very early stage because it's your way of connecting. It's your way of not ruffling the feathers. It's your way of not, you know what I'm saying, causing any disgruntled energies or no confrontational energies and things of that nature. So it's your way of thinking that you're even being a good family member or friend or associate, or coworker. But every now and then, you reach an event where the universe reminds you that your opposite energy has to be at play right now. And then for the most part, every now and then, how you're seen and your actions, your sun, right, being in Libra, when that event happened, a lot of times you get connected to stuff you ain't even want to be connected to. You ain't even want to be a part of and shit. And I mean, and stuff. And you get placed into a scenario where you got to talk your way out of something or detach or ghost at times that you weren't even ready to ghost or detach or in some way, shape, or form. So you have to keep that in mind also being a Libra sun sign. Every time that you're in a situation where you're seen as two-faced or fake, it's because it comes from a situation that have accumulated where you haven't separated yourself as an individual enough when you was applying yourself with that situation and things of that nature. And it start to play out as a person looking at you like you're fake and two-faced it, where when the event start to accumulate, when it was accumulated at its very early stage, you wasn't being two-faced. In your own mind, this was you making sure that you're not seen as a negative friend or a negative person or something like that and keep in balance. But you do that so much, it would accumulate into a situation or an event where it is time for you to separate something. All that energy that you was putting into others and stuff, not to ruffle the feathers, you was mixing mingling with people that low-key subconsciously did not aware themselves, but just by you interacting with them and what they do on their own, you subconsciously create a situation where an event may happen and a person may look at you as two-faced it based upon you being so cool with that other energy that it accumulated from, based on the people, places, and things, if you get what I'm trying to say. So that's Libra sun signs. Now, Libra moon signs. Anytime you're being extremely indecisive. So anytime you're in a situation where you are extremely indecisive about something, you're dealing with the opposite energy. You have lost the circumstance of coming to a decision, not caring about how another person think or feel about it. You have lacked putting in experience in situations in your life. You have lacked putting in experiences in your life where it. Is we back on? Yeah, we got stupid dumb trolls in here. That's bored with their life. That's striking. But for the most part, yeah, there haven't been a lot of situations in your life where you have been accumulating a decision, or you haven't even been in an upbringing where, you know, people was speaking that life into you to make you feel good about making a decision about something and things of that nature. So this weird indecisiveness energy is coming from you not developing that energy in your life of the opposite energy, individualizing what you want to create, what you want to express, your feelings about something without the thinking and logic and the seeing if it's relatable enough and see if it could all just be based on a conversation. And for the most part, when you start to express that energy a lot more, you'll be able to stop circumstances that lead you into indecisiveness, and you will stop manifesting people in your life that always put you in that space to make you feel like the first thing to go to is to be indecisive, due to the fact of making a decision too fast may make somebody else upset. You got to sometimes stop manifesting people like that in general just by having that Libra energy. Now, when it comes to Mercury in Libra, anytime you're in a situation where it's hard to not get into arguments, right? So anytime you're in a situation where it seems like it's hard not to get into an argument, you may have developed something last week at your job. So you start to feel this weird, intense energy when you start to go to work. Now, you don't know where it's coming from because the situation it accumulated from was probably last week. But yet, you find yourself having it hard not to be frustrated about something, hard not to argue about something, 2 words this person say, your family, friends, or associate. You ready to get off something that was already on your mind, but the situation previously didn't call for it. But whatever conversation is had at the moment, something what opened the door that you can make an alignment with was already frustrating you with, that now you could bring that to the conversation also. And it makes sense to bring it to the conversation, even if whatever that the conversation started was didn't have anything to do with that. If it just got a little bit of energy with words close to the space of the things that's frustrating you a little bit, you will pull it a lot closer for it to mix and mingle, and then start to spoil the well, or cast stones at the skip stones on the water. You know what I'm saying? Mess up the conversation anytime you start to reach that space. Now, when you're in that space, it's because there have been situations you have been accumulating that you was in a wish you shoulda, woulda, coulda circumstance. Like a conversation may have ended last week where you didn't really get to get your rocks off. You really didn't get to say what you wanted to say, and you like left it at that, right? Or it might have been another situation where you didn't do what you actually wanted to do, and you realize if you would have did it, you would have been a lot better off, and things of that nature. It comes for those. So it comes from the lack of the opposite energy when you're utilizing Mercury. You not being able to think for yourself at that time. You know what I'm saying? Whether you feel like you're right or wrong. Sometimes that's an inspiration for other people, because a lot of people be wanting that kind of energy. Whether you're right or wrong, that doesn't matter. Just to have the courage and the energy to be right or wrong. Just to have the energy to have conviction, right? A lot of people can use that in their own scenarios when it is time to be right, or when it is time to get out of a scenario. So a lot of times, sometimes you got to act out that energy so you can go through enough experiences to see if you're actually right or not. And you might get more respect also, and not so many people not taking your advice or how you be communicating serious. Because a lot of times with Mercury and Libras, y'all got a weird sense to manifest friends and family sometimes that don't take what y'all be saying serious. Even if you kicking good spiritual game in that context, this your way of conveying it, a person won't take it as serious as you want them to at times. And it takes them to go through experience for them to be back in your face, for you to be like, I told you so, for them to realize. And a lot of times, y'all be tired of even it to go that far. Now, because sometimes y'all be trying to help people. If you the higher octave Libra. Now, which is Mercury in Libra. Now, Venus in Libra, and Venus rules here on a daytime shift, on a day shift. So, if anytime you're in a situation where it seems like it's hard to talk your way in or out of situations, right? Even if someone blaming something on you, and it seemed like everything is justified, and it's hard to talk yourself out of that circumstance. This puts you in a damn. This already. I need to put this on a charger. This puts you in a situation where. Put this on charger real quick. All right. Boom. Okay, Venus and Libra. Now, anytime it's hard to talk your way in or out of circumstances and situations, right, you're meeting the opposite situation when it comes to your Venus. And a lot of times you have used Venus too much as a comfort zone because you're already good at it, to the point that you're going to meet a fork in the road that you have to use the opposite element. So for the most part, there have been situations that you have been accumulating that you haven't been valuing yourself. You've been valuing others' opinion too much, valuing what another person love and appreciate too much for you to stay in their good favors, or for them to be in yours, or whatever like that. And then for the most part, you're going to always manifest a situation where it's hard to talk your way into something, or hard to talk your way out of something, due to the fact of you being in too much agreeable energies and things of that nature, without seeing it from the perspective in these scenarios that it's time to use the opposite element. And you're going to be agreeable without even thinking it's the opposite element you need to use. And from those starting points and correspondences that accumulate in events in your life as you being hard to talk your way into something or out of something. Even if you didn't do something, a person to be blaming you and stuff like that based upon what you was allowing previously, by not having that Venus and Aries energy and things of that nature to be able to utilize it as a Venus and Libra and stuff like that. So A lot of times it'll play out in things like this, right? You could be around somebody, one of your friends, and they might like something that one of y'all enemies or something don't like or whatever like that. But your friend just into that. You ain't into that, but based upon you never be speaking out your mouth about things you like and love and stuff like that, a person just start to look at you like the same thing this person like because they never see you complain about it and stuff alike. So stuff like that. So a lot of times, let's say your friend ain't around and you around your enemies, and your enemy saw you with your friend buying a BB gun or something like that, right? Then for the most part, they're going to think you got one too. And that might just be your friend into that. You might not be into that type of stuff and stuff like that. But based upon you not expressing the stuff you love with the Aries energy at times, it accumulate into that energy where stuff hit the fan and some competition or an aggressive event have to play out and force you to do that at that moment. And now you're forced to speak with your Venus and Libra in a relatable way for Aries things, for you to not get hit upside your head. And tell these individuals, that's just my friend. I just don't speak out against my friend, but I'm also not into buying those things also, because I'm not creating enemies and stuff like that. And then for the most part, you wouldn't even have to witness that event if you was already standing on your 1-2 from the jump. Therefore, when that event would have happened, and your friend ain't around and you would have ran into those individuals, right? They would have already seen you for you already and separated you from that. If y'all get what I'm saying. So this a lot of times, this is a lot of issues that you Libras have too. Sometimes y'all guilty by association in a nutshell also. Now, if y'all intelligent, which is a lot of Libras, y'all are intelligent. Everybody not into it. Y'all, I'm just from the hood, but take that into your own scenarios, whether suburb, whatever. Like, you know how to take that allegory and put that in other scenarios, how that play out, however it's playing out in your life, or when you do meet those type of situations. Now also, Mars in Libra. Now Mars is debilitated here. You know what I'm saying? Because it's getting ready to be risen from the dead again. So that's when it goes back to its other home, 8th house, the casket from where it was born in the 1st house. So it's debilitated because it's not fully risen again. And things, so it's weak or unaware or unconscious, knocked out. So a lot of times it's hard for a Libra or Mars in Libra to even go fully into their passions without the validation or without the support or without somebody doing it with them. But here's the thing. Mars and Libra, anytime you are experiencing situations where it's hard to get people to do things with you, anytime you are experiencing any situation where it's hard to get people to do things with you, that's because what you're failing to realize, and you, like I said, y'all like Geminis, y'all have good comment, and like Aquariuses. So it ain't like when y'all leave a situation, it was a negative conversation. Y'all be leaving conversations with y'all family, friends, and stuff like that, and you be thinking everything is all good. But then when you start to feel that weird energy of you still not getting supported though, and you like, dang, this person said this, and I thought we had a good. Okay, what's actually going on is, right, whatever you was communicating to the other individual, they may be unaware of this, but their spirit pilot senses is going to tingle and just make themselves feel like, let me just be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But what's actually going on is, what you fail to realize, whatever you expressed lacked the Aries energy, aka whatever you was communicating about your passions and motivations, wasn't something that sounded like you individualized yet. It didn't sound like something you even sure about. It didn't even sound like something you even that passionate about. You almost put your family, friend, or associate or coworker in a position to make them feel like you need them to tell you if you should go for it or not, and things of that nature. So it's almost like when you make a person feel unsure about even fully participating in whatever you're talking about based on your way of conveying it. So you have to keep that in mind also, because it's debilitated here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might got this good passion, right? And you invested into it on your own time. You'll go to work to a coworker, go over a family member house, a friend house, an associate, right? And then based upon you being a Mars and Libra, you communicate it in a way like you want to hear somebody's opinion about it. Now, that's all to the good. That's smart conversation. Like I said, y'all good conversationalists. But there's a yin and yang gift and curse to everything. The unseen, so a person gonna add on to the conversation all day. But then on the flip side of it, it's developing a energy of a person looking at you like you're unsure about yourself too, though. So, but it's so small on a percentage level, it's not enough for this person to look at you like you're in a trauma or anything. So it's still a regular conversation. But that's why next week you start to feel like, why ain't nobody supporting? Why? You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times I got to peep game, be it a Mars and Libra. Be aware how you coming across when you start to express your passions and motivations and put some conviction behind it a little bit. And therefore you won't experience a lot of those problems and things of that nature. Thank you so much for the Cash App, Bonnie. I appreciate that from the bottom, Mark. Couldn't see the full name. Now, Jupiter, Libras and Jupiters and Libras, right? Now, anytime you're in a situation where it seems like it's hard to find others to share experiences with, and things of that nature. Whether you want to do things or nothing, you still like to be a part of things or go to places where maybe people at and stuff like that, right? So anytime you're in a situation where it seems like it's hard to even find others to even share experiences with, and you're always in the woods by yourself, or you're always left to isolated to think for yourself about what you just went through, and it's hard for you to decide if you're seen as negative or positive to whoever else was involved with the event. So it's like, for the most part, anytime you're going through this situation, right, it's because you're not self-sufficient or completely sure when you're jumping into experiences. A lot of times, 95 to 97% of Jupiter and Libra signs experiences is based on helping someone else out, doing something with someone that they came up with the idea first, or taking someone else's advice, or doing things. A lot of your experiences start on that spectrum. And a lot of times when you step in situations with that spectrum, a lot of times you get met with events that's out of your control. And it always take other parties at hand for it to get back into control. And then that Libra energy start to flare up as an unbalance to the point that you got to use your communication to control something. But at the end of the day, after the outcome, when you're pondering over it, you like, dang, I had to do some extreme things to obtain balance in my life. I had to do some extreme things out of all this chaos. See what I'm saying? So at the same time, you have to be careful. It's because you're not experiencing going in places and dealing with people or learning the things that you're deciding to learn without so much other people's input yet, or just observing what you think everybody else is giving attention to and being wet upon, and then just trying to figure out why people is interested in that. And that's all you need as far as diving into something that you're learning. And then that small ramifications play out as that ain't really what you should be learning. You just learning that based upon wanting to be relatable. So when you do have conversations with others, you don't want to sound like you don't know a lot about stuff, and you can add on to the conversation, which a lot of times on your own time, doing that allows you to not be in a position where you can isolate yourself, where you like to experience what you like to experience, and build up on that, not caring if people like it or not, to the point that even when you're in situations and people do like it, you still got the energy behind it of yourself. So you're not experiencing, so the situations that you're in, you have more control over. You're not manifesting a lot of situations that you're not in control over, because the situations that you got in had about 4 or 5 other parties included. Now, now Saturn is exalted here. So Saturn is in Libras. How is we almost an hour in? That don't make no sense. And we only on Libra. That don't make no sense. All right, now I think time sped up or something like that. Now Saturn in Libra, right? Now for the most part, it's exalted. So you got to make sure you don't go over extreme, because you could create a lot of self-sabotaging energy by having a lot of access at the jump, from the jump. Exaltations get the good stuff from the jump, and it's up to them if they're going to over abuse it or take advantage of it, and then that's how they meet their demise and self-sabotaging energies, going too hard before experiencing all the rides at Disneyland. You went to sleep because you got excited off that first ride and all that cotton candy clouds. Thank you so much for the donation, Junior Ramon. I appreciate that from Bob Mark. Real stuff. Time you're in a situation where it's hard to gain balance in your status, material or maternal, or your structure in your life, right? Based upon associations, communicating with others, and networking, and people who are close to you, right? It's because you haven't structured a good foundation as an individual yet. So a lot of your dreams and aspirations sometimes be based on what's expected from you. be based on what you think other people be looking at from other people to think that what we call is gifted or talented. And a lot of times this would make you competitive to be the best in something, and you would network and actually use your communication skills to be in a better position than someone who even better creatively, because it ain't what you know how to do, is who you know. And you know how to master this because Saturn is exalted in Libra. So you like to master this, but sometimes you can take advantage of that and every now and then don't receive all the fruit and possibilities of that energy due to the fact of being in that kind of alignment. So you have to be careful of that too. Sometimes you have to individualize your status regardless if you think it's going to build or not, because that add expression and feeling. Fire, Aries. Aries add, fire itself add color and character to the air, so it don't just be all over the place. It look like it has a character, and we can make an image out of it, even if the image get ready to fade. But we can just imagine an image out of it, because fire take many shapes and forms, and is given a form and a color to air. So now we can see what shapeless and formless actually looks like from the transition of fire and water, which is air. And we can see it travel, and the fire is going to get trapped into the air, the lighter form get trapped into the heavier form, and then for the most part, it shows us which way your desires is going. Is it going to burn down the whole area, or is it going to be a little light in the sky to bring warmth to everybody, and everybody have something to look at as exciting? So when it comes to Saturn, a lot of times you don't ground yourself in that area. So this is why a lot of times you don't meet the requirements to manifesting as fast as other individuals. And anytime you're going through that situation, it's because you haven't substantiated and grounded your own individual status yet. Your status has always got something to do with what business you're a part of, what job you work with, your family last name or something like that. You have to substantiate your own status, whether you see it negative or from the jump. And once you build a routine in that, then you start to relate. That little respect there will allow whoever you're relating to be more open to what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? Now, Scorpio. It's good as hell. Real good and soury. Now, Scorpio, right? Scorpio ascendants. Now, anytime it's hard to get personal or deep connections within your life, especially when it comes to people that you're already close to, like family and things of that nature, but you can't connect with them in that level that you need fulfilled in. And every now and then you may play out rebellious energies as a replacement factor to get their attention to fulfill that area that you lack, because you have no other way to go about it. So this is technically the Scorpio stinger, where you create. It start early too for the Scorpio, especially the Scorpio ascendant and sun sign and moon, where it start early on your family members that you built resentment towards, because you're using them to fulfill something they're unaware that it's their job to fulfill. And it's so deep. It's supposed to be something you know how to deal with yourself, but since you're unaware of that, it's something that you place on other individuals but don't even know how to express. That's it. So it end up being used, other stuff end up being used to express it. Like sabotaging energy, being rebellious towards your parents, being bad in school, and then it can start to play out through your adult years as you become a teenager and become an adult, where you become a manipulator, a cheater, or a person who didn't mean to become a cheater or a manipulator, but you would do things first to destroy the relationship because you always got this weird sense of it's going to happen to you first. So anytime a person is showing actions that's not fulfilling something that nobody knows how to fulfill it, because you were supposed to learn that, it becomes you doing other actions to fulfill it. And you would even cheat on your partner, and if your partner is willing to accept your cheating, that will be a reverse psychology that you just did of drinking your partner energy to fulfill that thing that nobody knows need to be fulfilled. And your partner will just be looking at you like you just got a problem with cheating, and they need to love you better. And you'll be thinking about the situation like, well, I'm self-entitled and I got this trauma or whatever, like I got this unfulfillment and everybody in my life better fulfill it or I'm gonna cause hell. and then it'll go on later and later in your life and stuff like that. So you have to be careful to the point that hopefully don't nobody they get a light bulb on their head and start to serve you with your own medicine and stuff like that. So you have to be careful being a Scorpio ascendant. Really sun signs and moon signs too, but specifically the ascendant. So anytime, pardon me. So anytime you are in a situation, being a Scorpio ascendant, that it's hard to gain personal connection, even with people that you're already close to, is because you're not utilizing the opposite energy. Taurus, you're not bringing things to the surface. You're not in a situation where you're making things more light. You're being too personally intense, making things deeper than what it necessarily needs to be. And it's not for that all the time. You only do that when it's called for. And when you learn how to practice that, you're automatic. It might make you uncomfortable personally every now and then, but you're automatically participating with the Taurus energy. Learn how to let it fly if it don't apply. Learn how to be more practical. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, like, weird energies don't even be meant for you. You'll be having conversations with family and friends, and they'll say something, and you'll be deeply thinking it's directed towards you without necessarily saying it. Now you got some deep grudge, thinking that this is how this person always see you. You start acting towards them a certain way and things of that nature. And here's the thing: you done made something too deep. And even if it wasn't towards you, you will create a reason how it was towards you inside. Now, here you go, back on the same program I was just explaining. Now you've been weird. Now you being rebellious in areas. Don't nobody know why you changing up like that. Don't nobody know why you acting like that and stuff like that. And then when they're trying to come to you and ask you, you can't really give them an explanation because in your mind, just you attracting them and getting their attention to ask you why and things of that nature is you drinking at the moment. Like it stops there in your mind. You know what I'm saying? So then if you could keep a person there and then see how far you could go, you even go do extreme stuff and stuff like that. If you ain't got the right individuals around you that'll check you. So peep game. You know what I'm saying? When you are a Scorpio ascendant. So the more that you bring things to the surface, right, and be a little bit more grounded when it comes to before you go deep, you'll start to realize, okay, everything ain't called for, and it's a time and a place for everything. This thought, this experience, this situation I'm dealing with is not for me to go that deep. It's let me just keep it above water right now. All puns intended. Now, sun sign Scorpios, right? So for all my sun sign Scorpios out here, right? Now, this is going to be anytime you're in a situation of being seen as unstable or sneaky. Anytime you're in a situation, because a lot of times Scorpio's not even sneaky, but you appear to be that way. And you always have to create an event where you got, but for the most part, when we start, what's this freezing on here? Is it getting, why is it? Here go YouTube playing around. They might start playing with my numbers and all kind of stuff. They already playing with my numbers. I'm not cursing anything, but I okay, I'm just me though. I'm me. Let me wait till this clear up. This is weird. Yeah, I got haters for no reason. So I got people who just take me too personal. Like I literally got, which I'm gonna strike them back and then report it to YouTube. But I can show y'all how I go through the little platform also, but I'm not even about to do all that. I literally, it's just, is it back on? Is we back on? Like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how you just got people out here that just be on the internet absorbed in a person, like not even listening to anything I'm saying. They just so lost in a person, and the hatred just goes beyond. Like if I'm online, I'm sitting here listening. Like, ain't nobody sitting here talking as good as me, and I just want to be a troll and strike. That's like you too fanned out on the internet. Like, you got to get a life. You got to. It will be too fanned out. Some type of people. Like, every time online, it's people that just be like online. It's everybody online just be teaching and stuff like that. So when I don't know, is it just the way I look or my ability to attract attention? I don't know, but a person will watch me and their mind is totally lost in me. It don't be having anything to do with what I'm saying, nothing. Like, they just totally lost in a person. I don't like humans like that. I could see if I was the type of channel that sit here and talk about celebrities all day and stuff like that. I could see if I was that kind of channel stuff. Why do I got a person that's fanned out, like a person who will be fanned out about a rapper or something like that, following me? I don't like that. That's the only way I got trolls. People who be fed. So it's a person. It's people who not even online for knowledge. Man, I'm only online for people who want knowledge, and I'm just willing to kick it with them kind of people. I'm not into a person that's so wet. So they be on the internet watching celebrities and stuff so much that they even attach that same kind of energy to an astrologer. That's weird. Thank you so much for the donation, BR1. I do not see no astrologer getting striked having a troll as a hater. That's weird. You got to get off the internet. You got to get off the internet, boo. That's when you took it too far. You're just wasting your time to strike my channel and stuff like that. Like, that's weird. I don't know. No other astrologer online got a troll and someone just copy it. Like, what? Who? I don't understand who I'll be attracting. But it be people I would never deal with in real life. So I don't even know, even see me in that way for them to see something that they must have expected from me, and I just didn't do it. But let's not forget, I'm an astrologer online. I can't go on no astrologer page online and see a troll in they chat and somebody trolling and they striking that person's page. You shouldn't even be on no astrologer page if you ain't trying to learn about astrology and learn what's going on. So for a troll to be on my page and striking for them few seconds and things of that nature, you got to get off the internet. Like, come down to reality for a second. You are on an astrologer's page being a troll. Where are you at in your own life at this point? You in your own world at this point. You do realize I'm talking about planets, Sagittarius, Libra. You do know these are astrology words, right? So for you to find yourself on my channel, you're just lost into you're wet or phantom. You the type of person that's watching celebrities all day. But don't come kick that over here. I ain't no celebrity. I don't understand you humans sometimes. How's I'm getting trolls like that? That's why sometimes I be have to think, is it how I look or something like that? Or is it how I act? Is it because I'm from the hood? Like, I must be some, because I ain't nothing to be jealous about. Trust me, whatever life you got, way better than my upbringing. So, like, I'm telling you right now, you be sitting somewhere being jealous about me, you jealous of the wrong person. You lack value in your life about something like that. Now, I'm the only one could be jealous of people. It's just my energy is directed towards people who run the world. I'm jealous of how they get to run the world with their magic and witchcraft. You got the wrong fight. If you on an astrologer's page, being a troll, that's retarded. You go watch a rapper or singer or something like that, or somebody be flunked out or something like that. I don't know how you get on this channel. Weird. That is weird. Sometimes you got to bring people back down to reality. Remind them what they doing. So they can look at themselves and be like, yeah, I don't be on no other astrologers trolling. So why am I on this astrologer trolling? Because you don't see me as an astrologer. You just flunked out on the internet every day. You must secretly like me or something like that. Yeah, get off the internet. Get off the internet. I'm saying real stuff. All right, now look. Now, go back to Scorpio. So Scorpio sun signs, right? So I guess they ain't striking no more. Or because you can't do it more than twice with one fake account. So they probably done used up their 5 accounts right now. And that's another reason why they be freezing my numbers and stuff like that. And I gotta wait till the actual numbers come back. And the actual numbers don't be coming back till like 21 days later. Because when you get strike and stuff like that, they freeze your stuff so it can go through whatever they do. They look at it. I guess humans look at it. Or go through a little bot system or something like that. Right. To see whatever you getting striked for is actually true. So that's all will be going on. That's the only, and that's why I be talking about like the support and stuff like that. And because like we got haters out here that just find themselves who they're lost in celebrityism, and then they find themselves on an astrologer page and then get wet for some reason and then become a troll. And for some reason, I'm the only astrologer they do that to. So it's weird. So I be meaning that when, man, people don't like you just for you being you. Always remember that. If you part of my soul group, shout out to everybody in the chat. People ain't gonna like you just for you being you. We in a time of day where you can't even be you without intimidating somebody, making somebody insecure, making somebody become a hater. You could be doing something that ain't got nothing to do with their reality. They come copying you. They come hating on you, trolling on you, creating weird expectations on you and stuff like that. And you just spark some light, minding your own business. You know what I'm saying? It's a crazy world out here. It's a crazy world. That's why don't let me get no button. No, I'll be understanding why I don't be having no power that the shadow government be in. I'll be on, like sometimes I sit back and really think about that. Like it's good that a person like me don't got that. Because man, I could be more y'all than y'all. I could be more weird than y'all be weird. Man, I don't even like creating outcomes. I like to stop things before they even happen. Man, I be creating all kind of military and forms of stuff just based off your trait. Your way of thinking leads to certain things. Depopulation control time. All kind of stuff. Oh, stop. Don't let me. Oh, God, don't let me get in no power. Lord Jesus Christ. Don't let Uriel get nowhere that kind of power. Please don't. And it really only be about 10 people left on Earth. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. Don't let me get done. I see now. I'm starting to understand. It's all starting to make sense. It's all starting to make sense now. Real stuff. It's all starting to make sense. I'm saying won't be nobody on Earth left but Star Ivy. I'm saying Corey, Taurine, Erica Starr, and indigenous ain't nobody on Earth left. I'm saying real stuff. I'm saying real stuff. Nobody on Earth left but F the Matrix. I said tunnel vision. That's it. That's it. Real shit. Real stuff. You need to go up the street. Only person left up the street, Jordan C. That's it. That's it. So after that, I'm sorry, I'm starting to understand now. I'm just starting to all come clear now. It's starting to all come clear to me. Starting to all really get clear. I'm saying real stuff, but all right, they not doing it anymore. So let's get back to it. Now, Scorpio. Dang, so we had to have a troll. Had to have a troll, did we? Come mess something up. Know what I'm saying? Now, Scorpio, sun sign. So anytime you're being seen as unstable or sneaky, right? Anytime you're being seen as unstable or sneaky. See, look, the common average Scorpio may not even be sneaky. But every now and then, here's the thing. When a person starts to give you that energy, like they put your spiritual back against the wall. Like they start giving you this weird peer pressure to make you feel like you have to prove something or expose something, or the situation just may not be right. And every now and then, you find yourself throughout your life condensing to those type of scenarios. And every now and then, you have to sit back and wonder, and then that make you be isolated a lot of times and not wanting people to know everything you do behind closed doors, so you don't keep creating scenarios of being open and everybody know everything on your mind all the time and stuff like that. You be wanting something to yourself. Now look, every time you're in that kind of situation, here's the thing. You might not even be manipulative, but just by you being a Scorpio, you play out those energies that from another person's observation outside of you, they're going to consider it as you hiding something or you being sneaky about something. And their way of picking your brain put you in that weird scenario of expressing whatever you are conceiving that this person think that you're keeping hidden. And by you being a Scorpio, you don't even know this is the scenario you're going through because this is everyday life. So it's just normal. You always experience people questioning you and you having to tell them, oh, nah, this is why I'm playing this game. Or, oh, nah, this is why I like this person. This like it's normal, but you don't know it's developing because you are Scorpio and people are observing you like you're not saying everything in the matter at hand. And you get a person questioning you in certain ways, and you already familiar with that energy, so you kind of not subconsciously trained to know that kind of come from a negative space for a person to side eye you all the time or to question you because you're so familiar with these experiences already. But you don't know from the other person's shoes for them to even say it like that comes from a negative space, aka they're looking at you like you're sneaky or you're hiding something. You might even be a Scorpio as a kid and got siblings, and they the ones always wasting the dishwashing liquid and pouring it down the sink and stuff like that before your mother even got to even wash any dishes with it and stuff like that, right? And she automatically blame you first and stuff like that, and you automatically got to be the first one to be like, no, I didn't do it. See what I'm saying? Or you always probably got, and probably play out in other scenarios, you the first snitch too. You the first one out the family who got to expose, keyword, all puns intended, got to expose something. You the first one who always get blamed, but because you the Scorpio. So the energy that your parent may that you got, your parent may be attracted of thinking that you did it first, based upon the way your body language moves, because it's your solar plexus. So you don't mean to be you, but you got that kind of mischievous look where you already look guilty. If it got something to do with something being stole, or if you was a kid with your siblings and your upbringing, and they be the ones who be pouring the bleach all down the sink first and stuff like that before your mother even got to wash any clothes with it and stuff like that. And then for the most part, you know, when she run downstairs and start questioning everybody, she question you first, and it start to build as a trauma that later on in your life you're not considering it as a trauma. It's something normal. It's something that you're just willing to do, but it's blockages that's being developed from it, where you always got somebody questioning you and side-eyeing you, but you already always comfortable expressing what you got going on inside. So for the most part, anytime you're getting met with a situation where you're always being seen as negative, it's because you're not bringing a lot of things to the surface level. And you probably haven't learned that based upon what I just broke down, based upon your upbringing and things of that nature. So it's a lot of times that It be situations where if you see something going on, you need to say something or expose it ahead of the time before you the one that has to be exposed about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's about being ahead of the game, being strategic and things of that nature. So, and how you do that is sometimes you have to use your energy for the opposite element when it comes into your sun sign. Sometimes use your energy of how you know you already participate that develop into you looking sneaky to others and use that to bring things to the surface ahead of time. Therefore, a person don't have no reason to side eye you. A person don't have no reason to question you because you have already exposed what needs to be exposed because you already have emotional intelligence to know what a person be seeing from you. And if you're not that type of person, based upon having this knowledge, you already know this the traits that a person may see, and this what you already need to combat before the conversation or the experience in the event lead to that. Therefore, the situations always lead to a person not side-eyeing you. You know what I'm saying? You nipped it in the butt based upon whatever minor thing you knew to expose by having this knowledge to have later on down the line a person not have anything to question you about and they already know how to separate you. And as a kid, if you would have had this knowledge, your parent would already knew you're not the one to blame at first. So I'm saying, all the way to the point that let's get back into the snitch energy. You might have to be the kid that secretly go into your parents' room and tell them they're the ones pouring the bleach all down the sink before you can wash clothes in the morning. And all of us go to school in the morning with dirty clothes. Therefore, look, later on, your mother might think to do some strategic stuff and catch people in the act. So even if she don't catch them in the act and it's poured out, when she do run downstairs, all your siblings and cousins is wondering why you was the only one wasn't blamed. Then they might be the ones start side-eyeing you and second question you. Hey, at least you did it for God at this point. You know what I'm saying? At least you stung for God at this point. You know what I'm saying? At least you the one ain't go to jail at this point. You know what I'm saying? At least you the one ain't get the whooping at this point. You know what I'm saying? You helped your family transform themselves. You know what I'm saying? You helped your family know how to transformative energy. You was played as the vessel to show your family not to be manipulative and not to be pouring the bleach down and try to and blame it on other people and stuff like that. And you gonna get the whooping. And it's possible for you to be later on down your life to be around someone who just might snitch on you or something like that. Because when you was in your upbringing, you had a sibling that was a Scorpio. The instant oil candlesticks. You know what I'm saying? YouTube. I was like, real stuff. But yeah, like I said, that Scorpio sun sign, that Scorpio moon. Right? Anytime you're in a situation where you're being seen as emotionally detached, you might not ever be emotionally attached. You go real deep in your emotions. So deep, you forgot to connect it with the world. You are detached. That water went so deep beneath the currents, beneath degrees, it turned into an iceberg. So that ice, you touch an iceberg, is hot, but it's so deep we can't see it. It's beneath the water. Where you at? We don't even know what emotional trauma you in. We don't even know how you feel about something, but yet you feel like you are emotionally detached, and people look at you like you are emotionally attached. Here's why. You're not bringing that emotion to the surface so it can melt and reach the top of the sea, so it can reach the sunlight, the star bow. It's going to be opposite to your ocean, the sun being in Canaanite, the Taurus, and let that melt that iceberg so you don't be building no grudges and things of that nature where there aren't any. So keep that in mind also. You can build resentment and grudges where there aren't any. And then make mistakes in your life and blame the mistakes that you made on others. Blame you doing what you did in your life because your parents kicked you out or something like that. And you ain't have to go make those decisions and things of that nature because they kicked you out and stuff. But, you know, you would do that. So you got to keep that in mind also. Being a moon Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio. Venus is debilitated here. So you have to be very careful. Now, for the most part, Venus, anytime you're in a situation where you can't expand in love matters, the reason why you can't expand in love matters is because you're too deep. You're not bringing it to the surface level. And you're not practical. You're not the Taurus energy. You have to utilize the Taurus energy with your Scorpio energy. Sometimes you will manipulate a love scenario without having a practical means to foundate it or ground it for it to be longevity. And for the most part, even though Scorpio is fixed water, its longevity, it's not in reality a lot of times. Its longevity is just emotional connection to the point that you could be in a relationship and a relationship need 50-50. the deep emotional connection, but also the practicality and the means to ground things. So a lot of times, without the practical means to ground things, you could be in a relationship that was destroyed, but you would have this person on your mind for the rest of your life and things, and try to destroy every future relationship that they're into, because your longevity is misguided. It's misguided into the connection other than the practical means. So you'll be connected with someone that you have no practical means of trying to even have them on your mind, or you bothering them anymore, and you and stuff like that. So you need to keep that in mind too. And so you need to sometimes bring things to the surface with Venus, so it can see the light of day when it comes to Venus. So anytime you can't, if you have a Scorpio on Venus, a Venus and Scorpio, and you can't expand in love matters, it's because the way you look at love is not practical. And then a lot of times, this is how you end up losing relationships. And then when you be trying to get it back and you can't figure out why you can't get it back, is because you didn't have the practical means. And the practical means sometimes is just as important as the connection. And you'll be trying to figure out, well, we shared so many deep connections together. How can this person do something to do that to me? Because whatever they did was in an area where the practicality was more even and balanced out. And that's what you was lacking, and things of that nature, which is the structure or the responsibility at hand. So keep that in mind also. Now, when it comes into Mars and Scorpio. Now, Mars rules Scorpio. So a lot of times you have access, but you will manifest the same type of scenarios as a person who don't got access by taking advantage or going too far with the energy that you're already good at. So for the most part, here's the thing. Anytime you're in a situation where you can't experience your passions and things of that nature, it's hard for you to even develop one. Or you might got a passion, but this job prevented, this person prevented, this responsibility prevented. And then you're not looking at the situations of how you accumulated these things. So you put yourself into a self-sabotaging yourself from these things. And a lot of these responsibilities can boil down to your children too, where you will create a self-sabotaging scenario to get out of taking responsibility for even children at times, if you got enough trauma as a Scorpio and things of that nature. So well, Scorpio and Venus, in Mars, if you're a Scorpio and Mars and things of that nature, due to the fact of you might actually have a desire or a passion to do something in life, and you'll throw your responsibilities on others to get that done. And this will be your context of stinging others and things of that nature. So you have to be careful of that too. This is where it becomes very toxic. But anytime you are experiencing not being able to experience your passions, it's because your passions, you're going too hard about it. You're thinking too deep about it. You're too passionate about it. And it's seen to other people as negative, all the way to the point that even if you have kids and you have Scorpio, and you have Mars and Scorpio, you might not even create a self-sabotaging situation. It's just the things that you're passionately involved in. You have someone that's a family member who actually care about you to consider things for you. They might got Virgo in their chart, Libra in their chart. You know what I'm saying? Or might have Taurus in their chart, where they're considering taking care of your kids or your responsibilities for you so you can do your passions, because your passions may destroy your responsibilities or your kids that you got with you, if you got kids. But for the most part, it could be anything in that nature when we start talking about Scorpio, Mars and Scorpio. So you got to peep game, right? So anytime you are experiencing those situations, make sure that you're making your passions more calm, cool, and collected, and not so intense. Therefore, when it's time for it to be intense, it's not resentment and self-sabotaging creating. You know what I'm saying? Now, Jupiter and Scorpio. This is going to be, man, I swear time is going fast. Ain't no way it's an hour and 19. Ain't no way. Now, this is weird. I'm saying, but let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Jupiter and Scorpio, right? Anytime you're in a situation where you're limited to be aware of what's going on. So when you're limited of what's going on in the environment, you start to feel this weird sense of esoteric fart cloud, peer pressures of people holding things back, people hiding things from you, people manipulating you. And it may not always necessarily be the case, but you might feel that weird energy. It's because if that ain't the case, but you feel that way, you haven't participated enough with the equilibrium balance with the Taurus energy in the field of Jupiter. You're not experiencing things from a surface level basis and then go deep. You're experiencing things from a deep level, then you're trying to make it simple. AKA you're lost in all the many bad things that can happen in your experience. And then you're trying to come to a conclusion how you're right. And then that's you going deep to make it something simple. Except you're supposed to do it the other way around. And that's where you failed to realize if you are experiencing situations in your life where it seems like you are limited to knowing what's going on and stuff like that. And let's say even if people is hiding things around you and things of that nature, it's because when you be involving yourself in your experiences, you're using too much Scorpio energy. AKA you participating, but you're not showing your whole hand because you don't want to feel vulnerable. And the things you don't want to you showing your hand to block from feeling vulnerable be like petty things that other signs actually use because it builds reciprocation in relationships, and they don't see it as vulnerability. So you thinking too deep about something and developing an insecurity because you don't want to be seen in that way, and it's playing out in ways of you jumping into your experiences, and then people are going to start to and you're going to think people hiding things from you and stuff like that based upon how you participate. So you're going to make a person feel like they need to participate with you like that. And this is how you control the situation from the behind the scenes realm. So this is what's unsaid. We're still talking about football, or if you females, y'all still talking about Barbie dolls and stuff like that, right? But y'all both feel the energies with the esoteric God language, speaking the angelic language, right? Y'all both feel the energies and stuff of like, yeah, this person ain't saying too much, so I ain't gonna say too much. Y'all, so that's that other language y'all be feeling and stuff like that. So we always use both of our bodies, our mind and our physical, the organs. So as a spirit, you should know how to control both of these things. Y'all be having a hard time with y'all mind controlling that one because of the world they put us in, and that one ain't our fault really, but it's your fault now if you're not starting now to get back on track, which is what these live streams is for. Now when we get into Saturn and Scorpio, anytime you are experiencing situations where it's hard to ground your own life in reality, seem like you always need assistance, seem like you always need your mama, seem like you always need your papa, seem like you always need your auntie, seem like you always need your sibling, seem like you always need your friend, and things of that nature. It's like you can't just conduct yourself, and when you reach that space, you could conduct something on yourself. You need assistance with that. Anytime you're in a situation like that, being a Saturn and Scorpio, it's because how you see reality and gain structure in your life, you wasn't serious enough about it. You wasn't reality-based enough about it. You wasn't practical enough about it. Everything you evolved yourself in, you added too much emotions, too much moods, too much trying to manipulate things to go in your favor and actually end up creating 10 steps backwards and non-trustworthy energies when people look at you and stuff like that. So for the most part, you have to be a little bit more surface level and stuff like that with how you see reality, because you can see reality from a very dark place. And when you're trying to be a good person, you got the aura to make people's spiritual pilot senses tingle to look at you like you are a dark person, regardless of what you're showing to be nice at the moment. And then they would think in their mind you're being fake, phony, or manipulating something, even if you're not. So you have to be careful of that. Capricorn. Now, when we get into Capricorn ascendants, right? Oh, not Capricorn, Sagittarius. My bad. Now, Sagittarius ascendants, right? Anytime you are seen as personally lost or unstable. And a lot of y'all Sagittarius ascendants are not even unstable. You know what I'm saying? Are not even and stuff like that. But your way of going about things, remember, your ascendant is not your actions and your reactions. So I'm saying it's just how you personally come across. And if a person don't know you, they don't know your wants and needs, your sun and moon, they might get the wrong idea about it. And then they got to get to know you for them to start to get the right idea. This is how you appear to be. And it's just some of your personal interests or personal dislikes, because this is your personal upbringing from people who ain't even that sign, but events played out in your first house for you to develop some of these traits or some of these dislikes in your life. So you appear to be one way that you be doing things subconsciously that you don't necessarily act on or react on, because it really ain't you. It's just your ascendant. So it's you, but it's not you. It's how you appear to be, Keyword appear, your appearance, what you're wearing. It's like your sun and moon clothes. Your moon is like your mother, and your sun is like your father, and the ascendant, it's his clothes, how they look when you go about doing these things. And when they got alignments like an opposition or a square, sometimes you don't look good when you're doing your talent or your gifts or going about your wants and your needs, because the ascendant make it look opposite or make it look frustrating to other individuals. So when you know astrology, you know how to deal with that. So when you present yourself, you actually have more talents than a person who probably got trines or sextiles because they've been baby feeded in their life by getting appreciated for their gifts. So they have to have a fire lit up under their butt to do it. AKA, you would be that person who went through the frustration, learn how to do something real good, get in that position that the trine or the sextile is already good at, and you remind them that they got to get up and actually do it though. And now they got competition. They got somebody who actually work hard to get it. You get it? So there's a gift and curse to everything. Don't just think just because you got a lot of oppositions and squares that just automatically means it's negative. Actually, squares is the most potent energy in your life due to the fact of you have no choice. Life, we're here to learn. So when it comes to your houses, your areas of life, it's already set up in that magnitude. Everything squares each other. So the square houses they kind of play out as a sign itself. For an example, the main houses, the ascendant, the midheaven, the iron colon, whatever you call that, and the descendant. So that'd be the first, the fourth, the seventh, and the 10th house. When you blend those energies together, it actually makes one sign. See what I'm saying? For an example, my 10th house is Taurus. So when I reach my status, I like to have consistency. My 7th house is Aquarius. So when I relate, it's always about group efforts. When my 4th house is Scorpio. So when I'm conducting comfortability, it's in private or it's about deep type things. And my first house is Leo. So my personality, that's what I express with my personality with good character. What I express with my personality with good charismatic gifts, Leo, is a person who consistent in their career that relate in such a way that it can help others or a group about some deep occult stuff that make people feel at home in a good charismatic creative comedic way. Now do that with yourself, and now you'll be like, dang, this is what I do when you do that with yourself. See what I'm saying? It's like one alignment. It's like one thing itself when to play out. But my bad. Let me get back to Sagittarius, right? Now when it comes into Sagittarius, so astrology is a good tool. Like when it comes to all occult and esoteric, astrology play out 60 to 70, if not 80%. But I'm cut some other stuff some slack because I'll be using a lot of stuff that sometimes astrology don't be on my mind yet. So I give it a good 70. Good 70. I do want to teach y'all to look to the west practice ritual also. You know what I'm saying? To help you understand your starting points. So when you giving birth to your creative gifts and manifestations and materializing, you got control over every second of it. You know what I'm saying? And this practice is beyond any Jesuit, Jewish person practice, Masonic, and it's the only practice you need. Besides, I would consider having a magic circle and a magic square, an altar, a magic circle, and a magic square. That's all you need, and all the tools that you use for those things. You know what I'm saying? Because the magic circle for you, it's two sides of meditating, masculine and feminine side of meditating. The masculine side of, the feminine side of meditating is your magic circle. So when you go on that, you're supposed to clear out all thoughts and feelings. So you can just be open to receive. So any thought or feeling that you accumulate, you know that come from previous circumstances you brought with you. Karate chop those. Do esoteric karate. Kick them out of your memory. So you're fighting for a second and a minute of nothingness. Now that builds an aura of clairvoyance. You made nothing look like something, and we call that clairvoyance. Now that's an aura. So whatever you're getting ready to pay attention to, you can see it more clearly without all the colors in it. You know what I'm saying? All the Kool-Aid in it, right? So you go back to the pearly gates. with the form and look at something through the lens of nothing as nothing was something. So that's how you make clairvoyance. Something clear. Something that looks like nothing, but it's still something. So how you manifest that in the esoteric world is getting rid of all thoughts and feelings and seeing how long you could do that, seconds, minutes, and hours. Or not even hours, though. I wouldn't, but you can. But that's the true meditation, the feminine. Then you would do that in your magic circle. Then jump next door into your magic square, and then you start squaring out that circle. All these new thoughts you're getting ready to develop came from nakedness, nothingness. Now appreciate those, all the bad and the good ones, these new characters, new traits to give new names to act out down here and a person look at you like, what is this? This is something new. Is you an alien? But before you do that, get into your magic square, and then that's when you do the masculine version of meditating. Imagining, pondering, analyzing, assessing, structuring, encapsulating all those ideas. Giving it a direction. Now you got a mean spaceship from your magic circle, magic square, equilibrium. 6-point star, magic Merkaba. Now, let it fly. You already know what you did. You put in all the energy work. Now go out and experience without looking for expectation every second, right? Because the expectation came from the magic circle. You get rid of thoughts. The magic square came from what was you expecting? All the fulfillment that you just received. Now go live, child. God gonna give you all the confirmation after that. If you done right, done wrong, if you got any ill intent with those energy fart clouds that you was creating, right? Because after you do your magic square, magic circle, magic square, in that order, then you go to your altar and start to practice your ritual and your spell. And get all your ornaments, crystals, gems, all the elements, all the objects that represent all the elements and whatever that you're doing and what energy that you're harnessing at the moment. Make sure you do the as above, so below. Make sure you know what energies in the sky. This is where the astrology come into play. It's like 70%. Make sure you know the energies in the sky. So the crystals, the gems, the objects you do as below is in the right positions and they correspond to the right element, the right time of the day. And this is the right ceremony. This is how you actually practice ceremonial practices without needing their stuff because you don't know how to develop discipline for yourself and know how life works. Now, my bad, y'all. You know, I just like to teach. Now, for the most part, here's the thing. Now, Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius ascendant. Y'all don't even always have to be unstable, but every now and then you could appear to be unstable to other individuals, how you conduct your stability personally. But remember, it's just your personality. So anytime you're seen as lost or unstable, when you get that weird energy from others, when they start to describe you, or it don't seem like things is accumulating in your personal life based on relationships or circumstances, right? Because you might even have a certain expression personally about yourself. So you might be trying to get a job, and throughout the interview, the manager might be seeing some weird, unsure, or some weird, indecisive energy from you. Like they might not be sure if you could actually do the job or not, and things of that nature. You might call off the next week. And you might not be, but for the most part, your personal energy might be in that ramification. So for the most part, here's the thing. Anytime you go through that energy is because you haven't received enough information or you're not communicating enough. And you're trying to like do something based on experience. So for the most part, you're allowing the event to play out and observe it before participating if you're actually doing that in the current event as it's happening. So it can play out like that also. And a lot of times you'll start to appear to be unstable or distracted or detached in some way, shape, or form. So you have to keep that in mind. Anytime you are experiencing that, it's because you're not utilizing the opposite element, which is Gemini. AKA, it takes a little bit more communicating or sharing ideas within an event that you are experiencing a feeling or appearing to be lost and unstable. AKA, personally, it might even just lead into a conversation of telling somebody, hey, you ain't got to look at me like that. I got this together. I got my bill together. The only reason you see me here all the time is because, AKA, boom, you're having that conversation. So that sometimes just that alone, that's what it takes to rectify it. So we're not always talking about experiencing extreme resistance, but I'm just telling you, every instance of this in your life on a percentage scale, this is what you're dealing with, that element. Now, sun sign Sagittarius, right? This is going to be seen as all over the place. So anytime you're in a situation where you got people looking at you like you're all over the place and things of that nature, it's because you 9 times out of 10 it's coming from people that you're not talking to them a lot. A lot of times you might be in, let's say you a Sagittarius sun sign and you was talking to an individual, then like a situation happened where it's like a low key, a little distance between you and them, right? They're gonna develop some situations to justify the distance. And they might even blame it more on you. And they might even say things like you're reckless and stuff like that, right? And that might not even be the case, maybe. It might be something that happened that you sparked a trauma in them and made them reckless, and then they're just self-reflecting on you at the moment. But here's the thing, right? Anytime you're in a situation like this, being a Sagittarius sun, is because that person that's looking at you like that, here's what's going on. There's a lack of communication. And it's always going to be a situation that you have to tell this person, no, that it's you. Or no, the reason why I'm doing is because of this, or God, or some spiritual system, or religious, or I needed some freedom, or I needed some space, or some stuff. Or you was locked in a cage, or whatever the case may be. You know how you Sagittarius be lying. But at the same time, it can be the truth in a lot of other perspectives if you the higher octave Sag. Oh, yeah, be. But at the same time, I love y'all if you watch my channel. But at the same time, yeah, like I said, that's when you go through those situations. Sometimes it takes more communication, or it takes more sharing ideas. So a person get the idea even from a distance when they're not talking to you to kind of suggest what you're doing, so they don't give you all that funk and all that energy next time they see you. That weird conversation that you necessarily wasn't even trying to have anyway, which is part of why you was distancing yourself. Now, also, now Mercury is Sagittarius, just debilitated here. So for the most part, this is going to be anytime you're in a situation where you can't create understanding, you can't get this off your chest in a sufficient way, or whoever you talking to, you just can't seem to understand them. It's because there's a lack of y'all being into the same ideas or into the same things to even have a level to communicate. So you're around friends or family who already ain't even into the same things you into mentally. So it takes you to communicate what you're into to them for them to understand why you are communicating the way you're communicating. Or it takes you to do that for you to help, for them to understand that you're just trying to understand where they're trying to come from and you're not trying to argue with them. So anytime you're in that situation, you have to utilize the opposite energy. Venus is Sagittarius. Anytime you can't expand in love matters. So if you're in a situation where it's hard for you to expand in love matter, even if you're in a current relationship, but it don't seem like y'all flourishing, it's because there's a lack of communication. There's a lack of sharing ideas. There's a lack of mutability in that. And both of y'all may be in a situation where y'all communicate more with other parties. AKA, you communicate your heart more with your family or your friend, and your partner do too. Where a lot of those energies y'all giving to other parties need to be given to y'all first, each other first. And that's what y'all may lack. So it creates distance within a relationship. So it's hard for love matters to expand. Anytime you are experiencing that, that's what's needed to be done. Communication. Mars and Sagittarius, right? Anytime you are experiencing this, right? This puts you in a situation where if you're experiencing opposition, anytime you can't experience your passions, and it seems like you either have to break free from something or ground yourself in something that's still a cage, but you know you have to fix yourself in that cage, and that's the only way out of it. So it's extremely frustrating, hard for you to focus on it, hard for you to be single-minded, hard for you to stay on one task, but you know you got to do it. So you still may be all over the place, but at least you're showing trying energies. Anytime you're in that kind of situation, it's because you're dealing with a circumstance or an event where when you start to participate with it, you ain't obtained enough information about it. And now that you're doing it, you're having to learn the information about it as you go. So it's something that's causing you to experience frustrations and things of that nature. And your passions is not able to evolve as fast because you jumped into it too fast without observing the right communications or ideas or information about it before jumping into it based upon an inspiration and jumping into it too fast, Sagittarius. So when you're meeting those demises, that's why. Jupiter rules Sagittarius on its daytime. So all Jupiters and Sagittarius, right? Anytime you are experiencing being held back within your experiences, and it seems like that you are doing something good, but you are experiencing some weird spiritual blockages and things of that nature. So you feel held back, but you can't necessarily explain what's holding you back. So every now and then you might lash out on people, but you might have to apologize and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I went to church today," or something like that, because you kind of know it wasn't them. It's just every now and then that mutable energy come out, especially fire. You might cussed out your mama for no reason. Then you have to tell her, "Yeah, I went to church. Sorry, I was just going through something." So at the same time, here's the thing: anytime you're going through experiences like that, being a Jupiter and Sagittarius, right? It's because whatever that you're participating, Jupiter, whatever that you are experiencing, right? You're not witnessing the information that was involved. So you jumped into that relationship before being aware or talking to that person enough to know how they truly was. And now you're starting to experience the things you don't like before you was wet off of being attracted by them and things of that nature. Or it may be situations where you take a job too fast, or it may be something that you may be doing something and you thought you want to do it and you still think you want to do it, but you experiencing some weird blockages. You ain't got all the information. That's why. That's why you're experiencing that at the moment. Now, and then you probably going to realize the information later on down the line. Hopefully it ain't too late. Then you got to create some self-sabotaging situation to get out that cage. Saturn and Sagittarius, right? This is going to be anytime you're in a situation where you can't reach the status you're working. Wait a minute. That was Capricorn. My bad. All right. Yeah, Saturn. Anytime it's hard to ground your own life in reality. So anytime you find it hard to ground your own life in reality, like you might be a religious junkie, a Bible thumper, but you can't seem to find a church to be a preacher at, or to have a ministry if you're a female at, or whatever that you're trying to do. Religious matters. Sagittarius is always trying to have a business they run. You know what I'm saying? Because it's mutable. So they ain't got time to be constructed by cardinality, and they can't stay in one place like that. I mean, they can't be taking orders like that, and then they ain't got time to be in one position all the time. Man, they got to be doing things that they run and stuff like that, not doing one specific thing to uphold a whole other circumstance, aka fixated energies and stuff like that. And so, you know, the Sagittarius have to have their own motives, or they don't even care about even thinking about business. That term might be even foreign to them if they don't got a position in it. You know what I'm saying? So they got to be at the top position, or it ain't even a building they even seen in their reality. They didn't went somewhere in La La Land. So here's the thing. And became ungrounded and shot their arrow towards a star. Nobody discovered it. And it's like they thought it was there though. You tell them they thought they was going somewhere. Then we got to tell that Sag, no, come back here. You shooting somewhere that don't exist. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Don't let your family members and your friend become long lost hippies. But at the same time, right, the Saturn and the Sagittarius, anytime you experience a situation where it seems like it's hard to ground your own life in reality and things of that nature, it's because you're not building that much reciprocation with other individuals. And it's times that you have to have reciprocation and connection and loyalty with people, regardless of if you feel like a cage or not. You know what I'm saying? It's not about you liking that family member character or not. It's about you understanding that's family at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's not about you feeling like 7 hours of your day is going to be gone. It's the point of realizing you still need a job, though. You know what I'm saying? So you have to get to that perspective being a Saturn and a Sagittarius, right? How is it an hour and 4? Sorry, boom. Aquarius, Capricorn. Being seen as, now, a Capricorn ascendant. Being seen, anytime you're in a situation where you're seen as restricted from expressing how you truly feel about something, anytime you're in that situation, you just feel restricted. You got friends, you got family, you got associates, but it's just almost like you can't never express how you truly feel until after it's all said and done. Now you got to do it in a mirror. You got to hold the microphone in the mirror now and do everything you wish you would have did when you was there. You know what I'm saying? Or now you got to write that letter and give it to yourself and read it for yourself and act happy and weird when you could have wrote that letter at school and gave it to that girl, or you could have wrote that letter at school and gave it to that dude and stuff like that, but you waited all the way till you got at home to say everything you wanted to say out loud in your room with nobody around. So for the most part, when you are a Capricorn ascendant and you're in this kind of situation where you're seen as restricted and stuff like that, it's because you're not dealing with your opposite energy in your personal life, aka the Cancer energy. You haven't developed a home or a sense for your emotions. Therefore, even when you're willing to have the courage to even have rejection as the outcome, you're able to have that safe haven to go to be like, okay, well, I can try with someone else. You might be scared to even go through the rejection because you don't even want to go through that feeling of, oh, I might have to find someone else. So you will stay in that la la land of your imagination as long as you can until you be old with a rotten hole in the back of your ankle and you stinking up the whole house, and now your grandkids got to take care of you if you even have anybody grandkids. You might be somebody's old great grand auntie, old great uncle. Saying therefore that's the only reason you live in somebody's house and get taken care of. It wasn't your kid. But at the same time, here's the thing: you don't stop your relationships from right now. So when we start to talk about Capricorn ascendant, anytime you're in that situation, sometimes you have to have more care for your feelings instead of always restricting yourself, because it always be this at the starting point. The only reason the Capricorn ascendant is restricted because you're allowing other people's emotions to have more authority over the circumstance. And you think it's more practical and to restrict yourself. And anytime you start to meet those energies of you feeling like you're not being heard and you having to go extra hard to do things and you're feeling alone, it's developing from you giving your energy of connection away from others, because when you're dealing with others, you restrict yourself to allow them to express what you think from a distance is very negative, and you don't want the sight a day to be seen in that kind of light. And a lot of times these things you be these things you be developing in your mind to express yourself a certain way, to not be seen in ways that you see as negative in the eyes of other zodiacs, can care less about that. And they express themselves in that manner because that's what builds good relationships. So a lot of times you have to understand that, so you don't always be in a situation where you're always just using people for emotional stability without having emotional stability. Now, Sun Capricorn. So let me speed this up. Sun sign Capricorn, right? Anytime you experience an opposition, anytime you are seen as being too dry or being a user or being too surface level and things of that nature, it's because your actions sometimes don't be having anything to do with home, family, or connection or emotional connection. It always got something to do with what you're going to do for family, home, connection. So you don't give a damn about memory, sharing connection. You might not even care about being at the crib. You're too busy trying to do things to support the crib and stuff like that. And then that becomes negative and toxic sometimes, especially when these individuals ain't treating you right and you go do that elsewhere. So you just become a negative individual, being all over the all city and town and being community Batman draws and Barbie and Ken panties. You know what I'm saying? You just end up being community versions of these things. So for the most part, you have to be careful of that. But at the same time, being a sun sign Capricorn, the only time you are experiencing being dry or being a user is because you're not connecting in the right way, and you're connecting on the wrong basis, based on material, maternal, or being seen as a status. And you think connecting in other ways, you're not going to be seen in this way that you created in your mind as a status that no one cares about but you. You don't even want to think you Bruce Wayne. You know what I'm saying? You don't even want to think you Goldie Hawn. You don't even want to think you get ready to have a good old TV show where people can celebrate your life at the end and stuff. You don't even want to think that. No one else around you think that. You don't even thought you was the boss. So you got to be careful at that. You know what I'm saying? Being a Capricorn sun sign. Capricorn moon, right? And damn, it's hard for me to not go down deep. So let me just roll this real quick. Instant oil stick candle, Kadanja sage sprinkles. Yeah, that I got from a Hebrew Israelite that practiced Judaism. I stand on the four corners of the eastern sail seas of the rivers, over the Jordan River, on top of the Mount Sinai, practicing Mount Hermetics, passing the law down, and giving the people the Torah. I'm sad. Stop. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, so that's Capricorn. That's Capricorn sun. That Capricorn moon, right? Anytime you're in a situation where it seems like it's hard to express what you mean. So you might be in your feelings, but it never seemed like you could reach a conclusion where you could express what you mean. A person always get the wrong idea, then they still call you a user, or they still think you're emotionally traumatized out, and things of that nature. Here's why. It's because with your emotions and stuff like that, the emotions you're expressing is not the emotions that gain connection. It's the emotions a person express to not appear to be vulnerable. And you be thinking that's what emotional intelligence is. And you be running around thinking you're smarter than others, while doing that, burning bridges with genuine relationships. And a person will start to feel like they have to walk on eggshells around you. And then you'll start to feel like you'll start to reach those forks in the hole in your life later on down the line, or in certain other days where it's like I don't want people to look at me like that anymore. So in order for you to get people around you, you might use an object or an ability or your body or something that you have worked for to get these people around you. And in a weird way, you're still looked at as a user. And you'll be having family members or friends or coworkers or associates at wherever you attracted these people to come to give you attention. And you will even have them secretly thinking what's not said. You'll have them thinking like, oh, this person has got me around or something like that because they bored or something like that. Or this person need a friend. So you got to be careful how you broadcast at times. Being a Capricorn moon. Anytime you're in that situation where you can't express what you truly mean. You're not developing the right connection of things that's not practical, and it's just based on you sharing space with another individual. You got to have more of those connections and things of that nature. Then once you develop that, you won't be manifesting those situations of, or at least lesser on a percentage scale, of when you're interacting with family and friends and stuff like that, or associates or co-workers. Y'all can never get the right understanding on what y'all trying to build on. And it always got to be a agree to disagree situation. And eventually you get tired of that. So you end up agreeing with something that you would naturally disagree with just for the sake of having somebody around. And then when you get tired of using them for that, if they don't start thinking that they're being used in the middle of that, then you got to start realizing you're just a devil. You're just a tower card. You know what I'm saying? Can't nothing get it right but God. Not even you at this point. You just a flunked out Capricorn. You made a mistake picking that time to come in this world. And they ain't nothing gonna help you with that one. Sag, you gotta do some spiritual trials and Indiana Jones Holy Grail routines and patterns and the Olympics and stuff like that. And gladiator circumstances, and make sure you get your award at the end. Get your ribbon. Your Lucky Charm jawline face. I'm saying, a little pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You successful now. And all of that. You've reached your status. You reached the top. Hey, you on your way. I rest my case. You the boss now. And all of that. You old holy goat face. You know what I'm saying? You old cactus jack, the arthritis in the kneecap, jawline face. And all of that. You old Billy Goat head. Now look, check this out, right? So now Capricorn, Mercury's in Capricorns, right? Anytime you're in a situation where it's hard to connect with others, no matter how good you talking, no matter how good that plan, that blueprint you laid out, and if everybody just played a part, things will flourish. The only reason it's hard to get that done and it's hard to put that in the position with other individuals is because you're always manifesting situations of people who ain't really, who don't really know you. So they start to feel like you're just using their expertise, and the moment you don't need it anymore, you'll disappear. You're not building no real connection where you can have more family support you and be in these positions, so you're not teaching them. It's like your useful energy is being misguided in miscellaneous areas because you're more about business than personal. And when you have Capricorn and Mercury, sometimes you have to have a little bit more emotional intelligence and know that sometimes you have to understand the personal first. Therefore, when you do start to conduct the business and stuff like that, it'll be you have a better judgment and stuff like that. Therefore, even if you got a business, you won't be hiring drunks and things of that nature because you'll know ahead of time these are the characteristics of a drunk. So you will be able to put yourself into a situation where, regardless of their credentials, the characters and the emotional intuition, the connection, what rocks your heart to sleep or not, is more important. And therefore, regardless of their credentials, and if their credentials has the actual expertise to take your job to the next level, you know that this person could be a mistake, and you just need to go wait till you get somebody else who probably got similar credentials but don't show the traits of being a drunk. As Uriel uses his 21st century flaming sword. Instant oil stick. That I can put on like baby powder and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? In the morning after I take a bath or a shower. I blame the Hebrews. But let's check this out, right? Now, so when we get into Venus in Capricorn, right? So Venus in Capricorn is can't find something to actually love. So anytime you're in a situation where you can't find something to actually love, right? You probably was all work, no play, right? You're not utilizing the opposite energy. You're not caring more about things that actually matter in life, right? You you're in a situation where you're allowing things that actually matter be taken away from you. Where it could be like this. You could come from a negative background, right? So this job, this business you got, of course you got to be there. But you work so hard, you ain't gonna take one day off with your family. You know what I'm saying? Or when you with your family, you ain't gonna have no other kind of conversation. I mean, that's all we gotta hear about is what happened at work and everything you had to do and stuff like that. So it's like that kind of energy when it comes into Venus and Capricorn. Anytime you're in a situation where it's like it's hard to find something to love, everything what's to love is right in front of you. You forgot how to love it. So that's why you meet those situations. That's why you probably end up having to go through a divorce. That's why you end up having to quit that job. That's why you end up having to get into spirituality and meditating after a while and stuff like that. Because life got the best of you based upon the things we compromise with. And eventually you work too hard for these things. And the things that you was working hard for that you were supposed to be loving right in front of you end up being rejected based on what you was doing for it. And you forgot to actually do it. Because you was lost in doing things for it, which is love. So be careful, all my Venus and Capricorns. Now, Mars and Capricorns, right? This is going to be anytime you're in a situation where it seems like you can't use your gifts for your passions, right? Right? You didn't got the job. You didn't got the check. You ready to go. You didn't bought your microphone. You didn't did all kind of stuff. Here come another problem. If it ain't one, it's another. And things of that nature. Here's a real blockage. This family member needed help. Or this opportunity ain't open. Or you missed the date to this. Or something. Or you ain't get everything yet. Now you got to get something else. Anytime you're in that kind of situation, it's because you lack the opposite energy when it comes into your Mars. And Mars is exalted here and things of that nature. So for the most part, all your passions is not for the right things. Your passions that allowed you to accumulate supposed to be for people that actually care about you. Not you using these things and to give them some weird energy that you make them feel like you're looking down on them by you taking your passions and being able to accumulate off of it. And the people that actually care about you have to feel like you look down on them in some way, shape, or form. So for the most part, you have to take care of that kind of energy because you might not necessarily look down on them, but you may come across like that due to the fact of the passions that Mars being exalted have allowed you to obtain. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, when you got Mars in Capricorn, you have to be careful because you'll have all the objects, you just can't use them. You could be the most talented person in the world, no one around to care about it. You have all the things that you need to go for your gifts and talents and things of that nature. There's no opportunity open for you for your gift and talent. You see what I'm saying? Because you lack connection in some way, shape, or form. The Cancer energy, where you need to create a home or a foundation. So when Mars allowed you to accumulate these things, you took that energy and used it for, created a home for others to actually care about it. Other than that, you ain't gonna be able to use nobody but your goddamn self. Now, for the most part, Jupiter in Capricorn. Now, anytime a person got Jupiter in Capricorn and you experience resistance, right? Anytime you are experiencing, hold on, did I break this down? Well, I might have said this for another sign. All right, so with Jupiter in Capricorn and things of that nature. Anytime, yeah, I appreciate it if y'all hit that flight button. Now, Jupiter in Capricorn, Jupiter falls in Capricorn. So always remember that too. So anytime it seems like you're unprepared or you don't have what it takes or you don't have the material, the material, or the object at the time that is needed, especially when you was already learning about something and you feel like you're ready to do it. And then when you get ready to do it, you don't have all the means and things of that nature. And you start to feel that weird energy of unstableness, unpracticality, a person get ready to look down on you. And now you get ready to look bad about your status and stuff like that, right? Now, here's the thing. Anytime you're in that situation, it's because throughout your experiences, right, you haven't developed a lot of experiences doing things with family or doing things from a genuine care. Like a lot of things you did in your life to manifest experiences, Jupiter, was for the sake of just money or for the sake of not allowing people to look down on you. So having the actual actions or the objects or the things that you're doing for a person could look at you like you got it together or something like that. And a lot of times when you're in a situation with Jupiter being in Capricorn, right? And you ain't got no genuine connection and stuff like that, right? It's hard for you to experience flourishing. It's hard for you to experience genuine connection because you're not experiencing things on the right pretense where a person can look at you even when you're down and won't kick you and help you. A lot of times Jupiter and Saturn a lot of times will place themselves in a situation when you're down, someone will kick you in some way, shape, or form. Because when you was up, you played so much of an extreme, expanded character, you made people feel like you will never fall off. Nothing can never happen to you. So when it actually happened to you, it don't matter if you had an enemy or not. A person will look at you like, yeah, you needed to come down a little bit based off their jealousy on you. And you wasn't even giving them no ill energy. So make sure you're adding more connection or sharing experiences with people you care about. Therefore, when your ups and downs happen, you ain't got to have this weird fart cloud peer pressure of expectation from this person to make you feel weird about yourself because you're not in that position that you was just talking a good game to be in. When you build good connection, you can still feel comfortable and don't isolate yourself because you'll be around someone that you can just go ahead and laugh and be like, yeah, I failed. At that time, I'm failing. And that connection will make the situation be like, you don't have to see them like they're looking at you as a failure in the light that you don't want to be in. Now, Saturn, I got to speed this up. Saturn in Capricorn, it rules this right here, right? So a lot of times the way you see reality is a lot more sufficient than the people that's around you. But sometimes that can build restriction because you don't have nobody to relate to around you. And the way other people are materializing be purely on the base of teamwork makes the dream work. And since the world is built on retardation a lot of times, sometimes it's hard for you to jump rope with your family, friends, and associates just on that kind of context. So for the most part, sometimes it's a gift and a curse with the Saturn here. But sometimes it play out for your benefit, right? Where you're still able to materialize, just ain't got nobody to share it with at times. If it lead down a negative road. So for the most part, anytime you can't reach the status that you're working for, right, it's because you haven't built the right connections with other individuals or dealt with family enough or built family with friends and associates. And a lot of times that's why you don't have the right status in other people's eyes. So you don't even develop the energy of a person giving you the satisfaction, even when a person can put you in a position to be seen a certain way from other people. Just the certain characteristic trait that you may carry will allow a person who don't know you catch a vibe not to put you in a position that if you was to get in that position, you will act a weird way towards people who actually know you and stuff like that. So a lot of times, you be setting yourself up for failure based upon your internal way, your internal negative ways. And you don't mean to be negative because the way we gain practicality in our lives seem like it makes sense. And you being a Saturn and a Capricorn, you do these things good. But for the most part, it's like in the spiritual world, it's negative in totality. Even like building stuff like status and being remembered. This blocks you from freely going to your next transition in life. Now, get into Aquarius. And I'm sorry, Aquarius and some Pisces, y'all. I'm going to have to speed this up a little bit because I ain't even get to finish my ritual and then upload how to get readings and stuff like that. But I'm still going to add context to it. Aquarius, ascendant. Feeling personally isolated from attention. So anytime you're in a situation that you're feeling highly isolated from getting attention, right? You was in a situation where you wasn't setting the stage for others. Like every time you was around others, you was personally investing your time into communicating, Aquarius, about dislikes too much. So even when you was having good conversations, because y'all good conversationalists like the Gemini and Libra, so you left the conversation without thinking anything was wrong. A lot of times people in their own mind don't want to talk to people who always got negative things to talk about all the time, or always want to talk about things we don't like. Sometimes people want to talk about what do we like and stuff like that. So a lot of times you might still feel the energy of not getting attention just due to that fact, and not having a correspondence or an example in front of you to let you know that's the confirmation. Because spiritually speaking, that's what a person be going through, was not needing to be said. Aquarius sun, being seen as negative or distant. So anytime you're in a situation where you're seen as negative or distant, or you feel like you have to ghost someone in some way, shape, or form, it's because you not getting attention, or you're not giving equilibrium attention to another individual that you're participating with, that you're trying to share attention with. You created an unbalanced relationship where you're trying to get the attention and you're not the Leo. So you have to understand that it ain't about Leos getting attention, but you could be dealing with any sign. You have to learn how to reciprocate a lot more and not create relationships that's just made for you to get the attention. See what I'm saying? And based upon you not being a Leo, your way of getting attention is being a devil advocate to things that get attention. So this would make Aquarius as rebellious or unique, right? Because you're Aquarius get just as much as attention as Leos. They just go about it in a different way. And in Aquarius' mind, they're not thinking they're looking for attention. They just think they're having good conversations and stuff like that. But what's happening is the Aquarius get attention by being the devil's advocate, or constantly questioning things that's constantly getting attention, whether it's a person, place, or thing. And based upon the opinion, keyword, words, air of the Aquarius, this will allows them to be able to receive attention. So this is your first go-to to build security and stuff like that. But every now and then, this is another reason why also you feel personally isolated from getting attention, based on not knowing this is what's going on behind closed doors. Sometimes you run people away because they don't always want to talk about negative things. Aquarius sun, being seen as, my bad, that's Aquarius sun, not Aquarius ascendant. Being seen as negative or distant. Now, Aquarius moon, feeling misunderstood when it comes to little things. Things you don't even feel like you have to have a discussion about. Somebody should have already understood. But it's like, dang, now you got to express your true feelings about it. They couldn't just think about it for themselves and got the idea, catch the hint. They that retarded or slow. And for that matter. For the most part, anytime you're in a situation like that, it's because you're not using your opposite element. AKA, you're not giving attention to a person's character. You're not paying attention enough and using your moon, reacting, rather, even if you're not expressing what you're reacting to with your sun. So you're just holding it in, but you're still kind of observing, right? Then for the most part, right, when you're not doing that a lot, you manifest situations where you start to, you create misunderstanding things and little things. Because if you was observing a person's character, their body language, not necessarily just what they're saying and stuff like that, you will be able to nip situations in the butt that happen later on down the line that you have to explain something that you ain't even think needed to be explained. If you would have just observed what's going on in a scenario in the current situation, you would have been able to be like, all right, yeah, don't be doing this, because you know every time we go to the gas station, you might forget your keys or something like that. So don't be, and then now that's how you become blocking situations of creating a whole bunch of misunderstanding situations about little stuff. Now, because a lot of times you Aquariuses be playing devil's advocate to a fault. And this is where the fixed energy separates from the cardinal, Libra, and the mutable, Gemini. Where the Gemini will be like, they automatically know to share that idea with their friend. The Libra will probably be the person that's in charge of the other person's keys. And it's the other person's car too. You know what I'm saying? And the Libra will be like, oh yeah, I got your keys, especially if it's a female. Yeah, I got your keys in my purse. The Gemini automatically be like, yo, make sure you don't forget your keys, because you know every time you're about to go to the gas station, you forget your keys on the counter. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. Now, the Aquarius is air too, but they stubborn sometimes at a fault, and sarcastic at a fault, and devil's advocate at a fault. So they'll be secretly trying to teach you a lesson. So they have the same energy as the Libra and a Gemini, but purposely not tell you. And can't wait till you forget your keys on the counter again, just for you to run back in the gas station and get it, just so the Aquarius to be like, I knew you was about to do that and talk like you, and then break down how you seen them leaving on the counter, and just for this person to not even care about what you're talking about anymore. At this point, especially me being the Aries, at this point, why did you just tell me to get the keys? You know what I'm saying? At this point, why did you just tell me? You know what I'm saying? Why we got to do all this, you old smart ass? Smarty pants. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. And that's how y'all Aquarius be sarcastic sometimes. And stuff like that. So y'all got to be careful of that sometimes. Y'all be flonkety flonk. So y'all be seeing the Gemini and the Libra energies and go the whole opposite devil card way. Go the star card way. Last time I checked, that star was in space. You went far out with it. You ain't have to go that far. You could have told me when you telling me right now after I done went back in there and grabbed the keys off the counter before somebody stole the keys. And something like that, or the cashier had to run out there and tell me I forgot my keys. Or you didn't wait, you went far out, took the situation too far. How you sitting here telling me you seen when I left it there, seen that how I got confused because I forgot the Gatorade or something like that. So that was the point of my mind being distracted to forget it. You done broke it all down after I had to run back in there and get it. And you thinking you being a smarty pants. At this point, you done lost me in the conversation the first 2 seconds. I'm only thinking about why you allow it to go that far. Microphone head. Now I gotta start roasting you the rest of the ride to the crib. I gotta roast you the rest of the ride to the crib. You old airsoft box, IBM, saying Apple computer, laptop, jawline face. Oh, for that. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about that. I'm gonna make you ghost me. I'm gonna make you not pick me up for a whole week for work or going over to somebody else's house. I'm saying real stuff. Since you like to talk and be sarcastic, I'm gonna be direct and roast you the whole ride. I'm saying real stuff. And we can still be friends. That good old sextile energy. Over that. Real stuff. Now look. Now, I'm gonna make sure you don't never bring up me forgetting the keys on the counter to nobody else, because we know you can't wait till we get around other people we know. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure I'll get my roasting in real good to be like, so in your mind, as the Aquarius, when we're around other people we know, you think for yourself, yeah, let me not ever bring up this cat forgetting the keys again and stuff like that, because I don't even feel like hearing this cat mouth. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm saying, yeah, this cat seen that hole in my sock today. Yeah, I don't even want nobody to know about that stuff, so I ain't everybody. You're right. I'm saying, real trying to be different coming outside, trying to say, yeah, I got mismatched socks because I'm trying to be different. No, your mother just couldn't afford no socks that week. It had to go to the bills. So you had to wear mismatched socks or dirty socks this week. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. You better not tell nobody. You better not tell nobody. Real stuff. You wait till I ain't around to go associate. Oh, sad. Real stuff. Now, look. Now, Aquarius moon signs and this thing. Now, if you're Aquarius moon, just any... not Aquarius moon. Who was that? Mercury? Now, Aquarius is in Mercury. Anytime it seems like it's hard to connect with friends to a certain degree, right? Pardon me. Anytime it seemed like that it's hard to connect with friends and stuff like that, it's because you probably talk too much. Yeah, Mercury and Aquarius. They don't really go no further than that. You talk too much. It's hard to connect with friends. I can't get a word in about my imagination. What about my frog? You know what I'm saying? Then when I start breaking down my frog, I ain't dissect something right. I left the brain there. No, I don't want to talk to you no more. Leave you in your corner. You go be a scientist when we get older. Say it by yourself. Don't try to convince me to be one. You go be a scientist by yourself when we get older. I'm cool. Say real stuff. Get out my face. Real stuff. I'm about to go sit with the females. Now, let's check this out. Now, for the most part, yeah, you be in the go corner isolated alone. You want to go get your good grades. Get all good grades, long barbershop doctor shirt. I'm saying, old Dr. Cloth apron. I'm saying, you go think about that while we at school right now. Man, there's girls at the front of the classroom right now. Now, look, check this out, right? Now, so you got to be careful with that Mercury there. Anytime it's hard to connect, it's because you ain't got that true connection. Give other people the light of day. Give other people attention. Even if they saying the dumbest thing since a motherland came back in Independence Day at the end or something like that. The mother spaceship, Darth ship. You know what I'm saying? A warship or something like that. Make sure you get, man, just listen to what they got to say at least. At least a person will like you, and then you could go ahead and kill all their thoughts and feelings and make them feel the most retarded in the world. As long as you listen, a person will love you for that, especially another Leo. They'll smile. A Leo think some weird thing in their mind that they getting attention or something like that. And they like it, even though they the retarded person. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful. You gotta understand though. At least listen a little bit, then like start telling a person they're retarded and they need a mental wheelchair and stuff like that. You know, and they need crutches in the brain. Then do all that. Then your sarcasm come across better. Because a person will be like, oh, this person heard me. And then everything that you start saying, they're open to listen. And then they can laugh at themselves like, yeah, I know my idea was retarded. They're able to laugh now at it. I'm saying real stuff. You gotta treat people right. Treat your family members right, Aquarius. Now, also, now Aquarius Venus. Now, I mean Venus and Aquarius. Feeling like you're not being appreciated. So anytime you're in a situation where you're feeling like you're not being appreciated and things of that nature, 9 times out of 10, you wasn't appreciating somebody. It just you wasn't appreciating them last week. So this week now, when you're experiencing it now, you playing a blame game. You think you got to ghost them. You feel like nobody giving you attention or something like that. And then you forgot what you did last week. You forgot you made somebody feel retarded and made somebody had to go rethink about their whole life. You know what I'm saying? You made your mama or somebody had to go reevaluate their whole life and was they even responsible enough to even be having children or something like that? You made them like had to feel like they had to go back to church and stuff. See, but you don't know this. You don't know this would be going on in people's mind. You just get your little smarty pants mouth and start being sarcastic and stuff and thinking you smart, and you don't know how you be damaging people inside and stuff like that. So then when you meet that experience and stuff like that, where it seem like you're not being appreciated for the stuff you love, appreciate being a Venus and Aquarius and stuff like that, you forgot what you did last summer. You done said something to your friend or your mama or something like that that made them like reevaluate their whole life. At this point, yeah, they still love you because these things is not said. Don't be thinking you about to get support either though about nothing. You know what I'm saying? You could be like this close to getting your high 3rd degree medal at the military Air Force or the extracurriculum geek in math science class as a completion together or something like that. You know, joining together at the Dragon Ball Z fusion earrings and stuff like that. Now you a mathematician, scientist, race car driver, right? And then like everybody in the world, you like famous, you successful and rich and stuff like that. You still can't seem to get the support from your mama though. You still can't see it. Like you like that. It'll be like the fake smile. You know what I'm saying? Still be normal, but it's still like everybody don't like consider you and treat you like the world treating you. You gotta like scratch your head and wonder. Yeah, that's what's going on at the moment. Nobody care about you because you ain't care about nobody. You ain't think about all that what you did last summer. You forgot what you did last summer. You forgot when. Like the whole summer, your phone was on airplane mode and don't disturb. You forgot about that though, didn't you? You forgot when I needed help. You forgot when I was stuck in the middle of the road. I was stuck in the middle of the road with auntie. She needed some milk and stuff like that. You know, we couldn't get a hold of you for a whole week. You forgot about that. We didn't though. That's like it was on our brain like a trauma that whole year. You know what I'm saying? We was watching commercials. You had all kind of milk around people we don't even know. Who is this person? You like pouring all kind of milk in their cup. They got all golden grams and checks. You know what I'm saying? Cocoa Puffs and all kind of eat real good cereal. You know, what's that? When this person meet this person? You having interviews talking about how you knew this person since high school. It's like, oh, remember this? I can't wait till we see your ass. That's a real deal. That. You forgot about all that last summer. You forgot about all that. Checks start getting slow this summer. Business starts slowing down this summer. God starts showing you what really matters. Yeah, family, right? Yeah, me and auntie who need the milk, right? Yeah, right? You know, you go pulling up with your rims. It's hard for you to pay for now and stuff like that. You pulling up, you on your last ends and nickels and running together and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Get away from us. Then you try to figure out why we acting funny. You know what I'm saying? Why we acting? You don't get to do that. Don't do that. Don't do it like that. You better remember what you did last summer, mother trucker. Don't come in auntie's house and stuff like that. Talk about we acting funny. No, you better start thinking about what you did last summer. Yeah, go back last summer. Even if you got to go on your phone and go down the call log and go back to that whole month, your phone was on Don't Disturb. Oh yeah, yup. We still feel that way. You know what I'm saying? We still feel that. Yeah, you got to take some time hanging around a little longer and allow us to put that on you for a while. You know what I'm saying? You got to hang around a little longer. Act like you don't care about us throwing you negative energy for a while so we can like feel comfortable with opening up again. Give us a good 6 months of you hanging around and catching this sweat. You know what I'm saying? So we can feel comfortable about you not ghosting again. I'm saying that. Real stuff. But yeah, so that's anytime you're experiencing those weird blockages, and for the most part, when it comes into Venus. Now, Mars in Aquarius, right? Anytime you're in a situation where it seems like you can't associate yourself with anything, it's like, I can't associate myself. It ain't nothing there. You planted bad seeds. You wasn't giving attention to your gifts, talents, or the people that was in your life to a certain degree with Mars. So, yeah. Ooh, shit. So keep that in mind, right? You was in a situation where when it comes into your oh shit, come on, nigga, I don't want no Asta. You know what I'm saying? I don't want I ain't Einstein and I don't want no Asta. I'll wrap this right back up. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, when we start talking about Mars, right? Anytime you're in a situation where you got gifts and talents, but it seems like you ain't got nothing outside of you to connect with via people, places, and things to actually allow it to flourish, right? You planted bad seeds, aka you wasn't giving enough attention to your gifts and talents that accumulated as routes to take via people, places, and things, and you didn't take them to a certain degree. You ghosted them, you separated them, you thought you were smarter than them, you was being too sarcastic and things of that nature, and then when it's time for you to gain the courage to actually do it, there's nothing there to attach to associate yourself with. I need a napkin. So, for the most part, you place yourself into a situation where once you want to go for your passions, there's actually nothing to associate yourself with to begin your passions from flourishing. So, now you're in that dicey circumstance. Shit. So keep that in mind. So now, so you have to put yourself into a situation where you are giving attention to the things that you know you need to give attention to build reciprocation in order for you to stay associated with something. Because it's not the Aquarius sun, moon, or ascendant. So, you know, the Aquarius, Mercury through Saturn may have a problem with attaching themselves to things, staying associated with things. And this is how it's playing out with Mars. Jupiter in Aquarius. This is going to play out a lot like Libra sun a lot of times. So Aquarius and Jupiter's in Aquarius a lot of times experience a lot of results like the Libra sun, right? Where you could be guilty by association. So you have to be careful of that also. Because here's the thing. With Jupiter being in Aquarius, a lot of times, a lot of your experiences that you develop in your life be on a pretense of what you are associated with. The people you're a part of, your family. And a lot of times at an early stage, you be thinking you be doing the right thing because it might be a family business. You might be associated with a group of other individuals to help you gain some security, to make you feel like you're actually a part of something and things of that nature. So at the same time, This put you into a situation where every now and then you might mix and mingle with the wrong individuals who have been doing things on their own time that you may be unaware of, and every now and then you get this weird stench where you have blockages and you don't know where these blockages is coming from, and it could be purely on the basis of who you have attached yourself to, and their energy is blocking you from opportunities, and this is where you become guilty by association. So you have to be careful. So anytime you're experiencing being guilty by association, it's because you're not actually experiencing or associating yourself and having the right communication where you're able to separate from the wrong individuals, that you could be in that space to develop the right individuals. Therefore, you can have a good face card and don't be guilty by association. Now, when we start talking about Aquarius and Saturn, now that this is the ruler on its nighttime shift. On its daytime shift. My bad, on its daytime shift. So anytime you're in a situation, now you're going to have a lot more access to gaining stability in your life or making sense out of things and making things practical, especially communicating that to others, where you actually see where other people are not practical in their life based upon how they think and what they're communicating and their actions. You're able to have one up on an individual in that area just having Saturn in Aquarius. But due to the fact of when you starting to experience situations where it's hard to build a unique status with being seen as rebellious, and things of that nature, where you can't manifest your own business, your own traction, your own accumulation, or your own know-how, even if you're creating a subsidiary business or you're already up under a business or a corporation, right? The only time you're experiencing that is because you're going through a situation where you didn't give enough attention to the things that could develop as your own business, your own association, your own humanitarian work. So therefore, this allows you to be selfish or self-centered in whatever that you was participating in, due to the fact of you caring more about a status and how you're seen than participating and not being too good to do certain things, that once you are part of something and that whole thing take off, then you can start creating positions in that area. And that's how you obtain your security, stability, support, and self and safety. So keep that in mind also. Now, last but not least, Pisces ascendant. Now with the Pisces ascendant, right? Anytime you are personally deserted from support towards your personal interests. Personal interest is your personal life ascendant. And anytime you're deserted from these things that you're creatively into and stuff like that, it's due to the fact of, it's in some weird way, right? You're not scheduling. You're not, you may have had a personal life where you have family, friends, and things of that nature who done things without scheduling, without practicalizing, without having it on a task. And they was kicking a lot of good energy to make it seem like it's going to be all right. And a lot of times it didn't play out like it was all the way all right. And a lot of suggestions and conclusions develop later on in your personal life based upon experience to think that it's best to keep things on schedule and on task. So you end up worrying extremely about things that's not orderly, that's not in orderly fashion or on a task. And you end up being frustrated with personal people in your life who don't have these kind of traits of keeping things orderly. And you feel like they may be holding you back, or you have to give them your 2 cents if you actually care about them. So anytime you're in a situation like that, right, being a Pisces ascendant, right, the only reason why you feel personally deserted from support towards your personal interest, because you don't have no routine or pattern or no consistency that's based on your personal interest. And a lot of times you play victim because you personally create situations of like weirdly putting people in a position that they have to actually take care or help you with your creative gifts and talents, or you're not going to be the one to personally invest into them. And you may even blame others to why you ain't taking off in your creative gifts and talents. And you may even try to make others feel bad personally for you not having your creative gifts and talents. And the people you're trying to make bad probably doing fine with their creative gifts and talents and everything. So you just create a bunch of self-sabotaging energies and things of that nature. And anytime you're experiencing that, it's because you're not worrying about the right things and being more structured and calculated and having more consistency, aka the opposite energy, which is Virgo. Now, Pisces sun sign, right? Now, for you Pisces sun sign, anytime you are experiencing being seen as delusional or having some weird blockages when it comes to your creative attributes or your morality or your spiritual systems or religion, or anytime you're experiencing weird blockages towards your dreams or your creative attributes and things of that nature, 9 times out of 10, anytime you're experiencing situations like that, or relationships to flourish, or siblingships, or for your job to make more money and things of that nature, right? It's because it's due to the fact of whatever you are experiencing, there was a lack of planning. There was a lack of communication, analyzing. There was too much worry. There was too much stress going on and things of that nature, right? And there was not enough worry towards the right area. There was not enough planning and communicating towards the right area. So all the planning, communication, and staying on task and being consistent wasn't being directed towards your dreams and imaginations. You actually got lost in your dreams and imaginations and forgot to actually do these things on a consistent basis, or forgot to actually analyze these things to actually do it. Forgot to actually communicate about these things, Mercury. Or forgot to actually put the work these things and got lost in the Pisces imagination. And then therefore, anytime you are experiencing being seen as delusional or blockages to others and things of that nature, is because you're not experiencing, you're not realizing that whatever you're starting to accumulate before you witness an event of somebody calling you delusional, is whatever that you was trying to start ain't have no practicality to it, no planning to it, no analyzing to it, and you were just wet off the imagination of it. And this is why a person may look at you as delusional, or this is why you are experiencing blockages when it comes into your creative dreams and imagination and your fantasies and things of that nature. Now, when it comes into Pisces Mercury, it's debilitated here. So, Moon and Mercury's, my bad, Moon and Mercury's. Now, Mercury moons. Anytime you're in a situation where you're feeling rejected from your ideas you share. Thank you so much for the Cash App, MP. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Anytime you feel rejected from the ideas that you share and things of that nature, it's because the way that you don't communicate with, like, these are things you're worrying about enough. So the way you communicate, a lot of times when you're experiencing these situations, you may develop from early in your life. And by you already being a Mercury and Pisces, you might express yourself like you're always sweeping things up under the rug. Like, this is the way you communicate. It could be an extreme issue somebody else have. Your way of adding on to the conversation is almost low-key, like you're sweeping their issue up under the rug. You might be dealing with an extreme problem and stuff like that, right? When someone want to talk about it, or you want to talk about it, you low-key make it seem like it's not as bad. So you force yourself in situations where you have to deal with extreme energies, and it has no outlet. It has nowhere to go. So you self-sabotage yourself, thinking that it's other people self-sabotaging you. And anytime you're in a situation where you're feeling rejected from your ideas and things of that nature, it's because the idea you had before you started to express your ideas amongst others, and the idea that you had about it. So you have to be careful about that also. Being a Pisces moon. Now, Mercury and Pisces. Anytime it's hard to find the words to explain. So anytime you're in a situation where it's hard to find the words to explain, it's because you're not actually. Hold on, let me finish off Moon in Virgo, because I ain't finished the point. So for the point is, anytime you're feeling rejected from your ideas and that you share, it's because emotionally and things of that nature, you haven't developed an idea. So you're just taking any ideas and expressing it and thinking that a person gonna add on. You're not developing this imagination and an idea and structuring a specific idea of how to go about this idea you just received. So when you express it and things of that nature, it don't sound like you're just sweeping something up under the rug and it's just gonna secretly manifest. You actually have things you're talking about adding on to it. Like whatever dream and imagination you're talking about, you actually add on to the conversation, like a time, a date, a way of going about it. Not just get lost in, yeah, I see myself doing this, and I see you doing this, and we could do this and this, that, and the third. And what about, okay, but we need gas, or what about, okay, this takes a time, this takes a location, this takes a circumstance, this takes a situation, this takes a plan. This takes consistency. You see what I'm saying? Now, so for the most part, that's finishing off the moon and the moon. So anytime you are experiencing being restricted from your ideas, it's because the conversation, you're not leading it to a person to be able to add to it in a way to be able to take it serious. Now, when it comes into Mercury Mercury in Pisces is debilitated here. So anytime you seem like it's hard, or appear to be that it's hard to find the words to explain something, right? For the most part, it's because whatever that you're into, you haven't fully did a full analysis on it. You haven't analyzed it from the full circumference. You haven't worried about it enough and took it serious enough that when you chose to have the comfort zone to express it, you haven't seen all the ins and outs, how someone else might look at you as stupid. And when you're into it, you're so wet about what you're learning, you're not even looking at it like someone will look at you as stupid when you express it, because you're just into something and now you're all excited about what you're spiritually learning or whatever like that to convey to someone else. So when you manifest that situation and it seems like it's hard for you to find the words to explain something and things of that nature, it's because you haven't fully utilized the external energy, which is Virgo, from a 180 degree angle, and you haven't fully did an analysis on all the ins and outs on what you're truly into. Then when you start to express it based upon the feeling and you think people should just understand it, people start poking holes in it. And other people might be into the same thing, but they might find out other things and how it's not sufficient. And therefore, you're going to start to take personal offense and play that victim again and think the world is against you again, where really it's just you in la-la land and not observing things. And when you're communicating it, you're not communicating it from the perspective of being well-rounded in that form of intellect. Now, Venus in Pisces, it's exalted here, so you go to extreme. Sometimes you can do things for the sake of love, and when a person is doing things just for the sake of love, there's no logic included. So a lot of times you can destroy yourself for the sake of love if you go too far and overexcite yourself before the rest of the rides to ride at Disney World. So a love don't even always have to deal with a person. It can be a place or a thing. You know what I'm saying? A Venus in Pisces can have a love for art, and they can love art so much it take them away from having a proper relationship. It take them away from actually having an actual grounding reality in their life. It takes them away from taking care of their responsibilities and all kind of stuff, to the point that they may somehow think deeply in their mind they can live the rest of their life somewhere drawing art and not even promoting it, doing things in reality, and somehow think somebody just going to discover their art that they never promoted. And sometimes a Pisces may die in that space, being a Pisces in Venus. So you have to be careful of that also. This is how you see if you got a Venus and Pisces uncle and they're a crackhead and they never became anything. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, their Venus was in Pisces, and then they somehow thought that, you know what I'm saying, if they could still smoke crack and somebody could come in their life and force them to stop smoking crack and do their talent that somebody else see inside of them. You see what I'm saying? So they'll smoke even more crack and play victim and claim the reason they're smoking more crack is because a person don't love them or some other dumb shit, and then the only person that ended up dying just smoking crack, and the only person was in the casket alone was the Venus and Pisces. So you got to be careful. If you got an uncle or auntie like that, stop them now. Now, for the most part, here's the thing. Mars and Pisces, right? Now, with Mars and Pisces, anytime you're in a situation where you can't find support for your passions and things of that nature, because you probably got creative passions, right? But the reason we can't find support for it, because, is we freezing? Oh, I thought it was freezing. The reason you can't find support for it is because there's nothing to support. Yeah, your dreams sound good. Where's the plan? Yeah, I see the passion that you're doing, right? How is that not destructive? Yeah, that sound good to drive 1,000 miles to go take that audition and stuff like that. But when you gonna get a job to save your check, to have the money to fill up the tank, to actually get to 20 miles away in front of Motown? Now I'm saying, so a lot of times when you Mars and Pisces are in a situation where it's hard for you to find support, it's because you haven't fully did a full analysis on what you're actually passionately invested into. And you're expecting others to just get excited off that passion, and you're expecting them to come up with all the ideas and things of that nature because you're mutable. And a lot of times you may place yourself around family, friends, and associates that energy like that turn them off. And then you might find yourself, without it being a harmful conversation, you might not know what's going on. You just know that you ain't getting no support for your passions. And you just find yourself trying to call people and they're not picking up the phone all the time and stuff like that. And that's the reason why. That's what these individuals is going through, because you might put them in that space. So keep that in mind also. Learn how to be more calculated when it comes to your passions and stuff like that you want to imagine and that you want to bring into reality. Now, Jupiter, which is the ruler of Pisces, on a night shift, right? Anytime you're experiencing a situation where it's hard to understand your experiences with religion or spiritual systems, like you've been in that morality your whole life, and all of a sudden you're going through this relationship or you're going through this event with this person, place, or thing, and all of a sudden it's hard for you to ground yourself. All of a sudden it's hard for you to use Jesus and for everything to be cool. Like you can't stop thinking about this, can't stop thinking about that person cheating, can't stop thinking about, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden these moral systems that was grounding you, it's hard for them to ground you now. Anytime you're in a situation like that, right? This because you wasn't being rational about the moral system you was into in the first place. You wasn't being rational about the way you was participating in the experiences in the first place. So for the most part, at that early stage, last week or last summer, when the moral system was going all good, you wasn't doing that self Virgo worrying, analyzing it to see if it actually worked or not in areas that it don't play out negatively. I mean, that it don't play out positively. Now, once you reach a fork in the road and something negative happen, you can't even use that to still gain emotional stability as far as your spiritual system or your religious system and things of that nature, because you lack that Virgo energy. Should have did a self-analysis on that in the first place, so you did enough cherry picking to add enough other things to it, so then when you reach a fork in a road, you got something to replace what you was just using because you was wet off of it based upon it being more positive on a percentage level. So keep that in mind also. Now, and then Saturn, Venus and Saturn, right? Hold on, did I? Okay, yeah, and then Venus and Saturn, right? Anytime it's hard to ground your creativity for money or status. Anytime you're in a situation where it's hard to gravitate your emotional stability to be able to help your family or to be able to ground your creativity for you can make material, maternal, or status to structure your life or organize it to a certain degree, right? Anytime you're in these circumstances, being a Pisces and Saturn, right, it's due to the fact of how you see reality. You're not taking the right things serious. You're not worrying about the right things. You're worrying about how people see you. You're worrying about how you're going to be seen and how you feel and is this creative or not. You're not worrying about you having to do something and get the 1-2 down regardless if a person like it or not and stuff like that. So you have to be a little bit more practical, a little bit more rational, and be more consistent about the reality of things before you get lost into the reality of having Saturn and Pisces, which is what we're all experiencing right now. For the most part, all of us could be in la la land on trying to gain money or material in our lives. And if we're not doing it in the right way, we may act a certain way. We may say something that we wasn't supposed to say, and it actually block us from being able to make money or do anything, or block us from an opportunity. All the way to the point that you might get so spiritual right now, to the point that with all this stuff the shadow government got us reacting and responding to, get online, say something, and destroy your YouTube career before it started. Now you can't even get monetized. Now you got to make another page and start over and not say certain things that you were spiritually into based upon seeing reality right now from a la la land lens. So that's what we all got to experience right now, which I'm probably gonna go more into the depth tomorrow in this motherfucking shit. But motherfucking stuff. I mean, mother trucking, waka taka Muppet babies. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. I don't know why time going so fast, but I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. You better believe it. And then we're gonna get deep. You know what I'm saying, on some more spiritual stuff until I see a lot of y'all in person, so we can start building these things in reality. And then don't go no further than that. Don't go no further than that. That's it.